Hey, folks on the internet. I hope you're all having a wonderful day and welcome to Spooky Saturdays, a just chatting installment where I share scary stories and delightful conversation with my friends on Twitch. Whether you're here with us live or you're enjoying the VOD on Twitch or on YouTube at your leisure, I'm super excited that you're here. Today we're hanging out with Jotunn. Um, say hi, Jotunn.
Hello, hello.
I was fully prepared for you to go hi, Jotunn. But
No,
because of
I'm off my game today. I'm kind of tired.
It's okay. We're gonna have a great time. Uh yeah, so if you guys aren't already following Jotun, why not? You should fix that.
Oh, thank you. Don't
And
have to
then
do
I
that,
can
but thank
remember
you.
how to do a shout out all on my own. Bam. Did it. I'm super professional. But yeah, so you do a lot of different stuff. I know recently uh you've been doing some I know we were talking about Northgard the other
Yeah,
day.
I would love to get you and some other people into Northgard, but I totally understand like real time strategies, not like an everyone thing. But at the same time, though, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Like I said, I'm kind of tired. Um,
I also know you've been doing some Minecraft. I know the last
yeah,
video
yeah.
you did was Minecraft. I knew you were very heavy into that. And I know you, Thrall, and Zombie have all been like,
Mhm.
Bunny, join us in Minecraft. And I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. Recently I've been kind of, I wouldn't say checking out the 1.19 snapshot because that implies I'm like hunting down all the new features and stuff, but I'm like playing in the 1.19 snapshot, the latest, whatever version of Minecraft is going to be coming out soon.
Thank you for clarifying that because I was like, those are numbers. And I know what that is. Those are numbers. Okay, so that's the new
Yeah.
updated version of
Yeah, and
Minecraft.
then whatever, and yeah, so that'll be like mostly streaming random days a week, but also every Wednesday is currently the plan.
Yes, and I know we have been doing the puzzling Thursdays.
Yeah,
We're taking a break from that and we're gonna come back to that
next month.
next month. I have a date, but I can't remember because I'm
Yeah, so
super
I'm going
curious.
to be unavailable next Thursday because I am having a birthday.
Yes.
And then I'm going to be out of town for a whole week after that. So it's going to be like June 9th or something is the next one.
Yeah, I think it is. Hold on, I have it written down. Because I'm so smart and I totally planned everything. Do. June 9th. Yep. Look at you go. You knowing
Not
how
to flex,
time
but I have a calculator or not. I have a calendar pulled up just to make sure I'm not wrong.
Hey, listen. I hear you. Also, I forever have a calculator up in case
Yeah.
anyone randomly asks me math, and also to low key stunt on my grade school math teacher who was like, in the real world, you're never gonna have a calculator on you at all times. And then they came out with
They
smartphones,
were
so
they were
who's laughing
even
now?
telling that to me in high school, and in college the professors were like, "Yeah, you are probably always going to have a calculator." So that was funny.
Listen, I used to be a mathlete, but then I took an arrow to the knee. No,
Yeah, I wasn't a mathlete, but I really enjoyed math. Anyway, I'm gonna avoid digressing into that because I just had a full math conversation with someone the other night, and it's not really keeping people's interest.
math, the scariest thing of all.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we could circle back. We could even do that at a later date. It'll be fun. But let's pop in. You've been here before, because I
Yeah.
keep dragging you back. You've been very kind and not been
Just
like,
let me sleep. No, I'm kidding.
like, Bunny, it's Saturday, and I'm like, no, we're hanging out on the internet, telling scary
Yeah.
stories. So you know how this works. If people are new in chat, how we do it is kind of like a round robin thing where we share stories that are scary that we either found on the internet. Jotun actually wrote a really good one. Um, so many episodes ago, but it was amazing. I know the VOD for that one is on YouTube, and I can't for the life of me remember if it was which episode it was, but it was dope.
It
Um,
was my second time on, I think.
okay, so that would have been episode, want to say 4 or 5. You know what? Just hang out there. Oh, 7 plus 7 equals triangle. Facts. Um, but yeah, basically, we read some stories, we have fun, and then we interject as we need to talk about it because of how I am as a person. Also, I just like calling shit out when it's weird. We just have a good time. Um,
You like calling shit out when it's weird, so you're calling me out a lot because I'm weird.
that's not true. You're just phenomenal. That was just a weird click. You couldn't see me wink, but it was hilarious for me. So yeah,
I'll trust you on that, I guess.
yeah, just you gotta believe me. You gotta believe in the heart of the cards. Well, let's get down to business. Do you have any spooky ones? Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
You start, because like I mentioned earlier, I failed the prep
Don't you
material.
worry about it.
Even
We're gonna have a great time. There was one week I think where you were super prepared and I had like nothing. And I was like, cool, I'm just gonna hot react. Okay. No, we do not pick up my spoon. I pick up my tablet. Yeah, so full disclosure, chat. Zombified Potato proofed all of my stories, my dear Spud husband. Uh, so these are probably very good stories, but there is always a chance that this is the script to the 2007 animated film A Bee Story, a Bee movie, the one with the scary guy with a chin. We all know what I'm talking about.
yes,
Okay,
Jerry Seinfeld.
yes,
Yeah,
super problematic, but it's fine. So here's a spooky story I found. It's
it's not
not
the
the
B
Bee
movie
movie
script.
script this time. When you say it like that, I don't know if I should believe you. But it's 39 page. Stop it. Okay, so this one's a phantom intruder. When I was in college, I house sat for my parents. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, so I locked every door leading up to the bedroom when I went to bed. I had the weirdest dream that someone unlocked each door and turned on every light, and I felt cold and woke up to my dog barking. Sure enough, all the lights in the house were on and every door was open and unlocked. My dog wouldn't stop barking in the hallway, but there was nothing there. I sat in the shower with my dog and phoned for the rest of the night, scared out of my wits. To this day, I still have no explanation for that night's events. Short and sweet.
I like how it said sure enough, just like they expected every door to be open.
Yeah, because when I have if they talked about it before they ate, far more, for sure. But part of me thinks that like this is like an escapade in sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Like they just sleptwalk and they're like, yeah, I I feel like all the lights are on, all the doors are open. They are. Also, like if it's not and it was a ghost, that's rude and they owe you power
Woohoo!
money. But
Ah, a floating shopping list.
a
Sorry.
floating shopping list. All right,
Yeah.
Thrall, I will hydrate just because you said to.
I like how hydrate is 69 points.
Thank you. I did this intentionally because that's how I am. Also,
How's
my
it
channel
going,
points are
Thrall?
little axes because they're questions, so you can axe a question.
Oh, I like that. I did...
I live forever in pun mode. Constant pun. This is who I am.
Unintended.
Pun intended. Yes. Very good. Let's see. Here's another one. I'm just gonna keep going down the list because he said he could edit it. Because
Okay.
he literally made me a document.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good list. Good list. Hello, Thrall. Very excited you're here. There was a scary noise in the background. I'm gonna ignore it.
Was it like a click noise? Because that might be me muting my mic because I'm about to
No,
eat some
no,
nuts.
zombie dropped something in the other room, and it made a scary like smash noise. But it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, speaking of loud noises and shocking like sounds, pallets always like scare the shit out of me because you're just not expecting like such a loud,
Yeah. Oh,
reverberating,
I
building
hear.
shaking boom from just dropping a plank on the ground. Like what
Yeah,
the
there's
hell?
literally just wood.
Hmm.
Thank you for the alert. Yeah, take a nap mode. Girl's got a headache. Please feel better. Caffeine solves all. Actually, don't listen to that because I have a caffeine addiction. No, I remember when I worked in a warehouse, making car parts. That was like around all the heavy machinery. The loudest thing was an empty pallet hitting the ground. It could be at your station or like six machines down, and it was just like it would reverberate. Got me every time.
Yeah, because it uses the exact same mechanics a Simple does.
Hmm, hadn't thought of that.
But yeah, my ears.
I've only got the one good one.
Yeah, I was about to say one of the something scarier than a horror story. Hearing loss. You know what I mean?
Hearing
Because you're like
loss.
because you gotta live with that shit the rest of your life.
That's
So protect your ears.
that's straight facts. I mean, I was born with a bum ear, but
Yeah, no, I'm saying like, um,
always proper PPE is ideal.
yes, yes, exactly.
And then we segue
Anyway,
into our OSHA plug. No. It's real though. It is very important to be.
just like get sponsored by like a work safety lawyer.
Does this ever happen to you? You may be entitled to compensation. Oh man.
I only cover slip and fall, not slip, trip and fall. Sorry,
Ooh, you
that's
trip.
from a that's from another comedian. That's from a comedian's show. So don't don't at me.
Don't cover him.
Uh huh.
Okay. I got another one on this list, and it's a bit longer. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, there was a young woman in her early 20s, about my age at the time, sitting alone at a nearly empty coffee shop. She seemed like she was trying to not cry, so I went over and asked if I could sit with her. We talked for hours about everything and nothing at the same time. Oh, so you had a Spooky Saturdays only live. Bet. Love it. Me calling myself out. She didn't go into detail about what was going on with her, but she felt like there was no hope. I did my best to encourage her. I told her not to give up. I tried to give her reasons to hold on, thought of ideas that might give her a spark of hope. Before the coffee shop closed, I wrote my phone number down. I told her that I would love to hang out with her again and that she could call me anytime. She looked at me and told me that everything I said to her wasn't for her to hear, it was for me, and I must have gone white as a ghost. I told her that I wasn't, in fact, in that mindset. I'd originally gone to the coffee shop to think, oh, okay. Trigger warning. It's a word, but it's fine. Um, I hadn't originally gone to the coffee shop to think about how. I'd originally gone to the coffee shop to think about how to best kill myself. But while I talked to her, I figured if I could help someone else not feel the way I do, I wouldn't, or at least not yet. And she hugged me and then walked out of the door. I ran after her because she forgot the napkin with my number on it. I was no that more than 2 seconds behind her. I got outside, but no one else was there. That day, she gave my life a whole new purpose filled with hope. I'm a
Hell
therapist
yeah.
now, and I help people all day.
Benevolent ghosts. Love to see it.
I do. I love to see. That's heartwarming. Um, that really is, and it does. I will say this as a person who enjoys hyping people up, who likes to help people. I get more out of it than I could possibly give. It makes
Mm,
me feel just as good. That's beautiful. I don't ascribe to angels, but that ghost was definitely the MVP.
yeah.
I meant to put warnings on these. Hey, it's fine. It was brief and it wasn't so bad because it turned out well in the end, zombie. You're beautiful. Oh, this next one's kinda some type of way. These are all very
Uh-oh.
short and I love them. This one's called The Bloody Faced Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's about a cat.
Oh boy.
One afternoon in college, I came back from classes and decided to sit on the couch and have a snack. After that, I just passed out. Mood. I had a nightmare of some bloody faced demon thing screaming in my ear at the top of its lungs. I then woke up and went about the rest of my day. My roommates come back later that night and he goes into his room as I'm sitting in the main living area. At some point, he lets out this random startled scream. Panicking, I run down the hall to see what's going on, and his words chilled me to the bone. He looks at me and goes, I swear to God, someone with a bloody face just walked from your bedroom into the bathroom. I had
The
never told him
hell?
about my nightmare that I had earlier that day, and after that, I didn't sleep for 2 days straight.
What the hell?
So
It's
was
not a
it?
nightmare. It's real.
Oh man, sleep.
Oh.
That's listen, home intruders, like the whole idea that someone's in your house and you're not aware of it, like
Mm-hmm.
that is scary. It's scary because that shit could happen. Like you hear all these stories about dudes who live in people's like crawl spaces and then they catch
Yeah.
them because their snacks are going missing because crawl space homeboy has been coming down eating your PB&Js. Like that's scary.
Yeah.
Oof, oof. I hope that that wasn't real though.
Oh man, I have some like real horror stories about stuff like that. I don't really want to get into detail on.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a video game. You reminded me. There's a video game came out recently. Like I was watching. I watch uh, horror games all the time, and one of them was someone was taking posts from Reddit and turning them into like a conceptual visual novel type thing.
Ooh.
And you're making me think about this, and I'm gonna spoil the big plot twist of the thing. But this person's home alone because their parents are out of town, and they go upstairs to do some homework, and they come back downstairs and their back door's open,
Mm,
but the house is totally silent otherwise. But then you catch in the corner of your eye while the character is sitting eating food something that you go, oh, somebody's in here. But if you never saw that, you'd have no indication.
I don't like
Really
that.
creepy.
I don't like
Yeah.
that. Like full disclosure, there's like the house that we're renting right now has I'm sure it does. I feel like it has a crawl space up there. And every once in a while I hear like old houses they when they settle just like
Yeah.
in random like you're never expecting and all of a sudden you
It's
hear like little
it's
pops
just
and
their
shit.
spine creaking and cracking.
Can relate. But also it's super like it's super unsettling. You're chilling, you're like disassociating, staring at a wall, and all of a sudden you hear like a weird shuffle from above you or above you but like down the hall. And I was creeped out because I had watched a bunch of like those videos about someone living in the crawl space. And I was like, what if there's a man in our
Yeah.
crawl space? And zombie's like, or it could be a raccoon. Or it could be a raccoon man. So every once in a while, he likes to make fun of me because he'll hear a noise and he goes, "Oh, your friend in the crawl space. It's moving around. I'm like, stop doing that. Don't do that. That shit's creepy.
They're here.
He's here. Oh man.
Yeah.
Just wild. I got a couple more of these if you want. I have a lot more of these actually if you
Oh
want.
hell yeah.
We could
I
just like
enjoyed that.
honest and apparently, according to Zombie, all of these stories are supposed to be true.
That's fun. You
I
always
love
love that. And
I love when it's
you
true.
also always have to wonder when the production company didn't just slap that on it so it sells better.
This is also that's true. Because based on true story things,
Not
those
to
are
discount the actual true story. I'm just saying there's a wolf in sheep's clothing around here.
no for sure. Just on the opposite end though, that usually what is it? My grandma says to every lie there's always a grain of truth.
Yeah, that's what makes the most convincing ones. Is they're hard to prove wrong because they're mostly right.
And there's definitely something to be said about like the more plausible something is, like scary wise, the more it kind of hits you different. And you're like, oh, that's scary because like I have a raccoon man in my rafters too. I hear you. Like,
I like how Zombie says there's their stories taken from the internet. Of course, they're
of
true.
course, no one lies on the internet. People don't lie.
Yeah, that's the issue though. Like this, it's making me think of math theory, but I won't get into that. But like the issue, it being some stuff that is true, you can just never prove it's true, so everyone thinks it's false.
That is, that's you know what? That's a valid point to. And I love that it had to do with math, but also,
Well,
I mean, think about
because
paranormal stuff. Like, we're always gonna base our interpretation of something as paranormal happened based on how what our worldview is, what we already believe. You know what I mean? Like if you and I are in the same room and something crazy paranormal happens, your interpretation of events is going to be different than mine because we have different levels of skepticism going on. So my brain is immediately going to go to that's some creepy shit. You're going to be like, "Huh, they should fix the wiring here."
yeah, I'm the asshole that always ruins like technical stuff in
I actually
movies.
love that. I love it about you. It's phenomenal. I'm that person who's like, "Pause it. I need to talk about why this magic system makes no fucking sense."
Viggo Mortensen broke his toe. No, I'm just kidding. That's like the biggest. Like every Lord of the Rings fan will pause the movie when Viggo Mortensen kills
Did
the
you
Hound.
know? And it's like, yes, I know. But really,
Yeah,
no one talks about
it's
how the guy who played Walter Bishop completely annihilates a tomato.
no that's a huge meme on the subreddit as well as the tomato is like the goriest thing in Lord of the Rings.
It really is. I have nightmares about
it,
that. Well, no, that actor, I
it's
I
such a
literally
fucking fantastic scene though.
it really is. It's beautifully done. Here's the or no, we're segueing into Lord of the Rings stuff, but it's fine. We're here for it. This is what we're here for.
I
Um,
apologize.
I love I loved all of the books. My biggest issue with the Peter Jackson um collection is the fact that Tom Bombadil is nowhere in there.
Hmm.
And I feel like
the the community is actually torn on that because half of them are like, I really wanted to leave, really wanted to see him. He's such a fantastic character because he's just like so outlandish.
yeah,
And then the other half is like he's only in there as advertising for the Tom Bombadil side series that Tolkien wrote.
but also I mean, an argument can be made and this is just my thing is that I always saw Tom Bombadil being in there handling the One Ring as a way to be like cuz I never thought like why didn't they just fly with the eagles the whole time? But it's a poignant part of Tom Bombadil's thing where he says, "Listen, this ring corrupts everything. Like at some point if I held on to this, I would be corrupted. It may take a very long time, but that would happen." You like,
Actually, I think Gandalf says that about Bombadil, but still the point stands.
yeah. It's been a long time since I read. I need to reread those books.
Oh, they're on Audible, read by Andy Serkis. Not sponsored.
Not a sponsor, but get at me. Either Anti Circus or Audible or both. Hit us up. Spooky Saturdays is here for it. So
Yeah.
psychics. Do you? Before
Anyway,
I get
sorry
into
for
this,
that
do you
long
believe in?
ass
Listen,
sidetrack.
listen. I think last week Faulty and I had a beautiful sidetrack the whole time. It was beautiful. I'm here for it. And I'm still working on my first cup of coffee, so we're here for the chat. So do you believe in psychics?
I believe in people having the ability to pick up on subtle clues, but not outright just foresight.
Okay. Well, this next one is about a psychic.
Okay. I do have suspicions though that there may or may not be like the ability to dream the future, because like
Oh,
all the time I'm like, I swear I had a dream about that 3 months ago as something's happening to me.
so deja vu. I'm sidetracking. We'll get to the story in a second. So deja vu is a real thing.
I mean,
Also, I don't. I
I know it's a
mentioned
real phenomena, but I can like nail the night that I had the dream for it sometimes.
it's now canon. Internet Jotun psychic.
No,
The
I'm
most
not saying
believable
I.
psychic because they're like, I'm not a psychic. That doesn't exist. I
Nah,
was like, but you are.
nah.
You're the chosen one.
No, I don't think. I think I would surely think that would be a more common thing if that was really like a phenomena. I don't really think because anyway, let's
No,
hear this
no.
story about the psychic
Real
because
quick, I just wanted
like
to say this. Have you heard of farm lore? I know I've mentioned it several times.
farm lore.
Farm lore. So it's a selection of, it's a whole bunch of, like a series of different things, like old timey, like superstition stuff. Um, that, it becomes, that kind of goes over like different superstitions. One in particular, though, I for sure 150,000% ascribe to, and it's about dreaming and foresight. So if you have a dream that something happens and you wake up, if you talk about it before you eat breakfast, before you break your fast and eat breakfast, it will come true. But if you eat something first and then talk about it, it won't.
Oh yeah, well this would go exactly against that. The what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because like I don't even like realize that that's what's going on until months later.
And you're like, wait a minute, you connect the dots. The math meme
Yeah.
lady. That's me. I hear you. Let's get into this story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I was working in Florida as a manager in a large chain of automotive dealers. I was on the service side and dealt with customers who had the most difficult issues or were upset. One day, an older man came in, and I went for a quick test drive to assess his concerns with the vehicle. He was calm and polite, a very easygoing person. After speaking for a few minutes, he asked me if I liked magic. He then proceeded to start talking about where I was from. He didn't ask a single question, he just began to talk. He narrowed down the area until he was within a 20-minute drive from the hospital I was born in. That hospital is an 18-hour drive from where that dealership was. And after a few minutes, he said, but you didn't live there very long. Moved south to the city, right? He was absolutely spot on. It was starting to get freaky. Then he started rubbing his eyes and humming. He asked me how long I lived in Norway and narrowed it down to the city I lived in for 8 years. At this point, I'm thinking he's some kind of weirdo who's done a background check on me, but there was no way he would know where I had lived while overseas.
You're not gonna know.
On
You're
the
gonna know.
return
I'm
drive from
sorry.
the dealership, I was running every possible scenario through my head. Did a friend set me up? How did he know the name of the city in Norway? He had me so confused. He honestly could have said he was some kind of psychic, and I wouldn't have been able to argue. And that's the end.
Maybe you just tailed him around. thought it would be funny to follow this person around their whole life, or maybe it was he ended up being coincidentally in the same area the whole time, or maybe he didn't fill in that he was a um, local doctor that either delivered babies or was in the ward or something.
Or maybe he was someone very good with accents. Because
Yeah.
people's speech patterns, the words they use, the way they speak,
See, though,
it changes by area.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say I understand the like accent thing, but you in there it said that he like even nailed the street or something, didn't he? I don't think it would be that just from accent.
Well, also I know a lot of like in the metaphysical community, there are definitely charlatans out there. For sure. I mean, you can't not have that be a thing. Like logistically speaking, it's impossible for there to never be a scammer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they do, I think it was John Edwards who was real bad about this because he was that, I don't know if you remember this guy, like years and years ago. He had a television show where people would be in the audience and he would go around and tell them, like, I'm speaking to your, like, person who passed away. And he would, like, these people would break down and cry. But he was doing
Mm-hmm.
a thing called cold reading, which is where he would throw out some random shit in a
And
group
then
of
the
people
and then
when
they
he
would
would,
tell him.
yeah, he would look to see who reacted. He would gravitate to them and start throwing out a bunch of other random shit to see what stuck.
Yeah,
Also, you
it's
hear
the
about these people who do these public readings where they
I was gonna
have
say.
like mics and shit set up in their waiting room.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of the most stereotypical scams. And the apologies for the thunder. Uh, can you hear that?
No.
Holy shit! Damn, that was like it's like 10 seconds of thunder. Anyway, it's like bad that the thing that it's filled with scams when that's like when someone wants to make a foresight scammer, they go to exactly that setup
Mm.
for storytelling.
Huh.
I'm not saying there are people. I'm not saying there's no way that someone is like doing it legit, but like it's very fraught with scams.
My mother always told me growing up that to some degree, all people have an ability to perceive things more so than others. Not necessarily like a paranormal thing, but like the human brain is crazy. Like your brain
Yeah,
will clock shit before you are even aware of it. Um,
yeah,
and like you'll react without really knowing why you're reacting. That's because somewhere in your brain, like a little flag went off that's like, hey, the temperature has changed. This is a thing now. Um,
hmm
so on that note, I mean, it's totally possible that these people, like, there are definitely people who can, but also to be wary about people who are like, for a fee, I can tell you whatever you want to know because chances are they're just trying to scam you.
yeah,
And that's all I gotta say on that. Safety first
yeah.
and be wary.
I was gonna say I totally get what you mean about the like picking up on subtle shit because most people with anxiety, it's because and part of it is because they pick up really well on like incredibly small social cues that a lot of people do involuntarily, but if you're paying attention and doing it deliberately, it can mean something.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's what sets a lot of anxiety on people off, is they're always like reading really into those. But then also too, like more broadly speaking, like you can smell when it's gonna rain, for one.
Yeah, petrichor. The smell
Well,
right
that
before
too,
rain.
but yeah, well, I'm talking like hours out, not just like right before. Like I like there's a wind that comes through that is a real soft wind, and you're like that's kind of out of place. But then if you pay attention to that, that's always like a couple hours before or a couple hours up to a day before it'll rain.
Oh, it's like when you wake up in the morning and you know it's going to snow that day because you go outside and you smell the snow. You're from up
I've
north,
not
so
done that, but I always can tell when it's about to rain just based on what the wind is doing, type stuff. But that's that gets into cloud reading and all that stuff.
cloud reading. Oh my goodness. There's like a whole like set
Yeah.
of like
So
divination
you can't.
based on how the clouds look.
Right. Well, I know about that, and while I'm not a subscriber to that stuff, you really can tell you can really can forecast the next 24 to 48 hours of weather on the clouds.
No, for sure. I mean, meteorologists are right sometimes, but they also use like before they had all this radar technology, it was literally a dude who was just like able to see, oh, well, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Like it didn't
Well,
start
also,
out with like radar scans.
I was gonna say too, there's certain kinds of clouds that only appear if you're gonna have like an absolute shit show of a storm. Anyway, let's hear another story
Yeah.
if you've got one.
So this one's called Open Door Policy.
Oh boy. Oh boy, that sounds risky as hell.
This
Uh
is
oh, here we go.
risky. Um, I used to work at a 24-hour subway. Well, one day I was doing the dishes and my coworker was cleaning the toaster oven and bread oven. Oh, as a person who's worked and cleaned a bread oven, I'm so sorry.
Shit's nasty.
That's gross. And it's
Especially
always
a toaster oven for Subway where you get all the meat drippings and shit, all the
eh,
cheese crusts.
it's like when you're trying to clean a turbo oven and you're like, this is awful and I hate this.
You know what? I'm not actually familiar with a turbo oven.
It's like the quick ovens where like it's like a metal rack and then you've got the like
Oh,
stone.
like a stone. Okay.
It's like a stone slab on top of the metal rack. So you can
Okay.
put stuff in to quick heat it. And
Oh,
they're
that's
always
interesting.
kind of on.
Yeah. Oh, it's because the stone stores heat. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see. I
They're
gotcha now.
foul. When I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, they you don't think they would get gross just heating up little itty
Oh my
bitty
goodness.
sandwiches and like but it's wild. And I'm so
Heat
sorry.
causes half of cooking, so I'm fairly certain they are disgusting as shit.
Mm, okay. Um
Yeah,
so out of
that's the real
nowhere,
horror story.
that's the real scary part of this. Out of nowhere around 3:30 a.m., I heard our
Uh huh.
door chime go off. Out of habit, I say, "Welcome to Subway" as I turn around, but nobody's there. My coworker's gone too. I thought, well, maybe he hopped at the counter and went outside. Heading back to the sink to finish the dishes, I hear the door chime again, and nobody was there. I checked the bathrooms, nobody. What the heck? I ignored the dishes. I stand in front of the counter, eyeing the doors. A couple minutes later, my coworker comes to the back door where we get our deliveries. "Where'd you go?" I asked him, turning towards the back area. "Take out the trash," he replies. Okay, I think. I'm just imagining things. But nope. Just then, the door chimes again. We both turn around to see nobody there, but this time, the door was wide open. Here's the freakiest part. Our doors are weighted, so they'll close on their own if you let them go. The door stayed open for a couple of minutes as we stared. Then suddenly it slammed. It was not a windy night, and our doors wouldn't even stay open like that on the windiest of days. I have no idea what caused this or why it happened on that particular night, but after I got a different job, I was told it never happened again. I told my boss about the incident, and we looked at all the cameras, and no one could explain it.
Hmm. I'm assuming it's a glass storefront, so they could see right through and see
Yeah,
no one's
that's
fucking with
usually,
them.
yeah. Most subways are kind of set up exactly the same 'cause it's like a franchise.
Yeah. I'm a mixture of who the hell opens a Subway at 3 a.m., but also we appreciate you for doing it.
Absolutely. There are
Cause,
gonna be days I'm like,
cause
damn, I want a sandwich.
yeah,
I don't
I
want to make
can't be
one.
asked to make myself a sandwich. And you're right down the block.
It's right there, and if I walk, I've burned the calories, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Sure.
no, that's
I'll
wild.
say.
And I mean, I've seen some very high winds open a
24-hour
door.
subways. What an interesting concept. Around here, though, well, not around here, but a little south of me, they were starting to get higher crime rates as well as people didn't want to work as much because, like the whole wage thing. So a lot of the 24-hour stuff went to 18-hour and are now like 12-hour.
I mean, yeah, because you don't want anybody to get hurt. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't imagine that because businesses have to have some level of insurance, I feel.
Yeah, Zombie, the one Zombie says they're usually either on or next to a college. The one I'm thinking of was Caddy Corner to a college dorm. Like one like almost 24-hour subway that I've been to.
Oh, so, well, that makes sense to have that be a 24-hour because drunk
Yeah.
college kids for sure aren't making their own sandwiches,
I'll
but
tell you
sandwiches
what
are
though.
needed.
Tell you what though, I went to a sub joint once. I know I was 5 minutes before closing, but they told me sorry, we're closed. I was like, I understand that. You want to get home, you don't want to serve people right at closing, but I've also had a long day and not been able to prep anything for myself. Just wanted to eat. Anyway, that's getting more into economy and workers' rights and stuff. That's not the focus of
No, for
the
sure.
podcast. I apologize.
I always, on that note, it was always like the bane of my existence because I worked close enough to the Canadian border at
Uh
a
huh.
Dunkin' Donuts. So it was like a constant thing where people were like, "Oh, what's this? Is it like this at Tim Hortons?" And I had to aggressively be like, "Hmm, Tim Hortons is awful because I was a brand representative for Dunkin' at the time. But also, I have a favorite. I'm not gonna. I think actually we all know what my favorite is out of those two. But it was always a thing. Like
Yeah.
if we closed at 9:30, on the weekends, it was for sure gonna happen that at 9:25, a bus of people heading back to like Montreal would pull in and they'd be like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Great, there are 30 Canadians here, and I have to explain to them what a munchkin is." Like
I
I'm like,
don't
"The
even
Timbit,
know.
just order the Timbits." Like you've been in line for 30 minutes and you can't figure out what you want to drink. There's a thing on the wall. Large coffee, cream and sugar, next. Like,
Just get the little sugar dough nugget and get out of my life.
like, please stop doing this. Oh, well, then they order their coffees like how they would for Tim Hortons. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, please don't do this to me. Food service is awesome, but wild.
I would say it's awesome receiving food service and is hell serving food service.
It's honestly, I think the funnest thing about when I worked in food service in like a job that wouldn't let me take tips. Um, it was always funny the way when people would be like, I'm gonna tip you, how they would nonchalantly be like, hey, I know they can see me right now. I need you to take care of these napkins. And they'd wink at me, and I'm like, why do you? There's a trash can right next to you. Because I am not the one to fully understand social cues. I'm like, what? There's a trash can literally right next to you. And then they'd be like, there's money in the napkins. I'm like, oh, why'd you do that? Oh, you're tipping me. Okay, that's what's happening here. Took me a very long time to pick up on that. But that's neither here nor there. I got another cute little one here.
Yeah, let's hear it. I'm sorry if I'm like constantly sidetracking too.
Listen, I am here for sidetracking. We're having a fun time. I'm having a great time. I feel like everybody
Cool.
else is having a great time. Why not?
And if you hear the thunder, please shout at me. I'll like close the window or something.
Garth Brooks
When
said it. Thunder rolls. I
I
was
was
actually
gonna say
singing.
I have the window open just because I have a fan because it's really hot in my room.
You know what's so odd? I was actually singing that song when I was getting set up for this stream. That is so wild. That is wild. Am I psychic, Jotun? No.
Sure, why not?
No, I can't be because you're the psychic here.
No,
He's the chosen
no,
one.
live your dreams.
Live your dreams. I believe in you. Spring break. Uh, all right, so this one's called A Rejected Deal.
Okay.
I was in my 20s traveling through Italy. I was on a boat trip around Capri when an old man started chatting with me. Whatever the question was, I made some remark about backpacking and wanting to make my money stretch the length of my travels, and he responded that he would swap my age for all his money. Felt like the world had stopped holding its breath while I thought about my answer. It truly felt ominous and foreboding until I said no. And I
He'd
still
swap his
remember
age.
the deal was that he would swap his age for all of his money. Like the old man was like, I will give you all of my money, but I want your age. Like I want your youth. And the person remembers this
Yeah.
situation 30 years later. So this was a while ago.
So, well, it also says they said no, so
Yeah.
good on them. That's the devil you're dealing with. Get out of there.
No, that's some whew.
That's some devil went down to Georgia shit.
Which is such a funny concept because the devil was judging that contest. So
Yeah,
Johnny had
well,
to have been playing exceptional for him to be like, nah, man, you got me.
right. Yeah, you never. Well, the devil. Not to get into religious stuff, the devil never plays without weighting the scales. Anyway.
No, that is super. Firstly, I don't like when random strangers talk to me when I'm doing something like in transit out in the public world. Like, don't perceive me. Don't do it. Um,
Don't perceive me.
don't perceive me. Like, if you're
You
going
may
to a
see me,
grocery
but
store.
don't perceive me.
Like, no, so I'm from up north where, like, if you go to the grocery store, unless you know that person and you guys do the, like, nod and wave, and then, like, you approach each other and then you have a chat and you take it, like, not where someone's gonna be walking. Like, you don't have people just like, I'm gonna chat. Down south, I live in the south now, is wildly different. If you go to the grocery store, someone you don't know is going to approach you in the aisle, block the whole damn aisle, and be like, "Da, da, da," and start talking to you about their whole life and shit. And it's like, I don't know you. Why are you
Yeah.
talking to me? They're like, oh,
You,
wow, you're rude. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm trying to get my frosted mini wheats. Leave me
some parts
alone.
some parts of Ohio takes that to 11, and then other parts of Ohio they're just like, this is a small town. I probably know them, even if I don't realize it.
It's so wild to me. The amount of people who are like, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, please don't. Actually, like, if I came in this store, it was not to socialize, I assure you. I want to be in and out in 15 minutes. Like, I'll be nice to the person checking me out and any employees because bless them. Like, they are
Yeah.
doing an phenomenal, especially now, like, they do a phenomenal job. Just, out here doing it. I'm gonna be nice to them, but like, Karen blocking the bagel aisle, you know what you did. You know what you did. You don't need to turn your cart that way.
Damn.
I'm just
Damn.
trying to
Called
get
out.
I'm just trying to get to the muffins. That's all I'm trying to do.
You know who you are. Shit.
I'm coming for you. No. That's definitely a scary thing, and I would be very uncomfortable if some old person said that to me.
Yeah.
Also, we don't know how much his money is. Like, if I was to entertain this, I would like a
Yeah. What
solid
if he's
figure.
broke?
Like, joke's on you, I only had 2 nickels. Bye.
You inherited my debt. Goodbye.
That's awful, but also really funny.
Yeah.
Like, I could just imagine. Could you imagine if someone were to take that deal and then they get bamboozled? Like, also, you have to pay these 5 creditors. Enjoy!
Yeah, imagine taking the deal, nothing happens, and someone pops out of the bush going, "I got you on photograph signing the deal. No backsies."
Sorry, no refunds. Oh man. Oh shit.
All
Mm.
right, let's hear the rest of the story now.
Oh no, that's the end of that one.
Oh,
Like I'm,
really?
yeah, that's like
I
a lot of
I
these are
like
very
how it's
short and
just I
sweet.
said no and it's just over, and it could just be he was just talking to some crazy person had no ability, but it always makes you wonder.
Yeah, because what if he had said yes? We'll
Yeah,
never know.
what if I had said yes? What if it was just the dude was just like seeing whether or not people would say yes, and there's nothing to it.
Or maybe he wanted to see what kind of person that, like, if I was a rich guy,
Mm-hmm.
a rich old man, um,
Surprise! You passed the test. You passed my Willy Wonka test. Here, have all
here,
my
have this
money.
chocolate factory.
Yeah.
Also, you're gonna have some people coming to you about workers' rights for the Oompa Loompas. Ignore that shit hard. Don't
Mm-hmm.
even answer the phone.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Back to
it's
the
atrocious. No. Here's
tying the
another.
podcast together to our earlier digressions.
This is what we're here for. Here's another one. Um, it's called Missing in Action. We lived in
Okay.
a house a few years back, and random things would just go missing, and then they'd turn up somewhere else. We never really thought hard on it because they were never expensive or important things. So, because
Okay.
this, none of us thought to mention it to each other. Fast forward, my mother loses an earring one day. It's not a huge deal, but it's a nice dangly pair that she wears frequently. Maybe a month later, I came home and find it laid perfectly in the middle of the ground at the end of a high traffic hallway. I take a photo and show my mom when she gets back. I give her back her earring and we discuss the oddity. I mentioned that lately I've been misplacing random inconsequential stuff like staplers, and she looks at me sharply. She goes, "That's so weird. Me too." Our housemate gets home and we mention it and he goes, "Oh man, that's so weird. My razor vanished for a while and I found it back on my sink one day." So basically, we're all convinced there was a friendly ghost attached to the house that just misplaced things to let us know they were present. And that's the end of that one.
Okay. That's just describing my family, basically. If it's not in our hand, it doesn't exist.
Yes, if it's not present, it's like the, what is it? It's like when kids like don't see something and no longer exists to them.
It's like calling your mom because you can't find your phone.
Dude,
Calling
that's
your yeah.
relatable.
Yeah. I that's making me think of a story I have. I think I was 10. I had a favorite hat wore everywhere. One day I couldn't find it and I was like crying, looking over the whole house. And my mom's sitting there trying not to laugh as she tells me more places to look. Can you guess where it was?
It was on your head.
Yep.
That is like a
Yeah.
weird. That no, that's a weird thing. Like I forever, like I'll misplace something. I'll be looking right at it, and it's gone. And the phone thing happens to me an awful lot. Like more times than I can, that I'm comfortable disclosing, because it makes me sound like an idiot. But like I also wear glasses, and sometimes I'll put them on the top of my head if I'm like doing something, and then I'll forget that they're there, and I'm like, why can't I see? And I'll touch my face. I'm like, my glasses are missing. No, that's money. I have to find them. And
Yeah.
Zombie will be like, babe, they're right there. I'm like, right where? I can't see anything. He's like, put your hand on top of your head. It happens very often.
You're making me think now. Like I've consistently religiously worn my glasses. I'm using religiously as in like dedication, not
Yeah,
as in
of
like
course.
anyway. So I'm like always never moving my glasses away from my eyes to the extent that if I take them off I get tired because the only time I take them off is when I go to
Yeah.
bed.
No, that's a real thing. Or worst part is if you fall asleep with your glasses on, and then you wake up and you're like, oh no, now I gotta like fix the screw on the side. because like
Oh,
my eyes, my face, like messed up the side piece, the piece that
I,
hangs on your ear to hold them on your face.
I can't sleep with glasses on. It hurts so much.
I fall asleep sometimes randomly. I think we've all established that
Mhm.
I'm a big time sudden napper where I'm like I need to just lay down out. Um
I need to let. Oh, I fell asleep apparently.
oh, I must have taken a quick little a winker, a quick little nap. It's been 7 hours. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's real. That's real stuff. No, but like that whole thing that like you hear with like the metaphysical community, like that the Fae will take your stuff and move it to like play with you, to trick on you. And like if you find a random thing that you know isn't yours, that you shouldn't pick it up because that's accepting a gift.
But it's a free penny.
Don't do it.
And his
It's
head's
crap.
up.
It's a tarp. No. Honestly though, I mean, I can't explain it. I don't know. If I had to think between is it a ghost or is it just like a tricksy little spirit that's messing with you? Or maybe like it got the earring was someplace and it just got knocked there because it's a high traffic area. Or this man just had
Yeah,
lizard brain because he was looking for his razor, so he was not seeing the razor right in front of him. I don't know.
yeah. I'm just gonna say the amount of times my sister and my mom like just lose an earring, and it's in a high traffic area. I don't know. I'm ready to commit to that one being suspicious.
Yeah, no, for sure. Or like you fall asleep with your earrings in, and you wake up and like you don't notice the other one's gone until like hours later. You're like, that's so weird. And then when you go to make your bed, you're like, oh, there's the earring. How'd it get beneath the bed? It's because like when you made your sheets, it went to the
Yeah,
bottom and then you kicked it there.
yeah. I've had times before where I lost my earbuds for like a month, and then I was making my bed one day and I found them because they just happen. You know, if you lose something in a blanket, unless you strip the bed of it and like flap it really hard and let it hang flat, you're never gonna find that thing in the
Yeah,
blanket.
because it'll like get snugged up in a little fold. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people who were finding stuff missing and placed elsewhere were like that concept of like knowing just enough for it to be dangerous type info, where it's like it's just enough that they're catching on that stuff's not where they think they left it, but not that they just set it down absentmindedly.
I like that. I like that thought. Also, they had multiple staplers that went missing. At that
That's a
point, I
fair
feel
point.
like that's someone pranking you.
I tell you what though, my dad and my mom are still looking for a car key that they had 30 years ago, and it was in the house, and they lost it one day, and they moved and they cleared the entire apartment when they moved, so it's either somewhere in their stuff or they just lost it somewhere.
Or it accidentally got trashed.
Yeah.
My sister, this is a side note. She actually follows me on Twitch, so T, if you're in the chat lurking, I'm about to call you out. So you ever hear those little like they're key finder things where you put them on your keys and it makes a little noise. And you can get them in
Okay.
all sorts of like decibels. Like you can like get a custom tone. So they got a I don't know which sibling did it, but someone got me. They had got one of these little like fobs that they could just like stick in a pocket or something. And it emitted a
Okay.
very high frequency pitch. Um that was like almost barely audible. And there was like a little I can't remember what the trigger is that makes it go off, but they my sister would move it around my room. And then I'd be like, "What is that noise?" She'd be like, "What noise? Oh no. Are you losing the hearing in your other ear in your good ear? Oh no." And she did this for no lie, like almost a full ass year. And then I was going through my closet organizing. Like when you go through your closet and you organize and you're like, I haven't worn this in a while, but someone could use this.
Yeah.
I was doing that and I happened to look in a pocket And I found this thing and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I bring it out and I'm like, Mom, what is this? My mom, everybody knew what she was doing. Everyone knew. They were all in on it because they thought it was funny. And my mom bust out laughing and she couldn't keep the secret. And she was like, oh man, you found it. The jig's up. And then someone did the trigger and it made the noise. I'm like, this? I was thinking I was going crazy. Ugh. Siblings, am I right?
Totally.
Some real shit. I had another one. I had a bunch. To full disclosure, if you're fine with it, I'm just gonna read because these are all very short ones, and I like having little chats
Yeah,
about
yeah,
them. This one's called The Park's Guardian. One evening in winter, I didn't leave work until almost 7 p.m. So I was walking home and thought I should cut through the park to get home quicker, even though it's really poorly lit. You should not do that, my guy, because that's absolutely how you're gonna get rolled. Don't do that.
yeah.
Chat, don't
I'm
do
getting
that.
cold over here. Sorry.
It's like no, like how in Stardew Valley, where Linus finds you and he's like, yeah, those JoJo Mark guys, they took all your shit, and here's a list of everything they took. But then I tried to scare him off, and it's like, did you, Linus, or did you straight up rob me?
Yeah.
Side note, I'm so sorry. A couple of minutes into the park, I could hear a group of people behind me and in front of me. Yeah, that tracks. I got a terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I was sure I was gonna be jumped.
Yeah, if someone's ahead of you and someone's behind you, and they're looking at you, you're getting jumped.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
That's what is this? The consequences of my actions? Yes. Always stay on the main road if you can.
Yeah. This is where you have a decoy wallet. You just go, just take my money, and you toss.
Throw it and run.
Mm-hmm.
Up ahead, there was a lamppost with a CCTV camera on it. So I decided to stop there, thinking if I get jumped, I'll get jumped on camera. And as I stood beneath this light, a really tall woman jogged over, and stopped next to me. I'm 6 feet tall, and she was way taller than me. She asked if it was okay for her to walk with me, and I told her it was fine. She walked with me to the edge of the park, talking about how dodgy the park was at night. And as soon as we got to the edge of the park, she told me to have a good night, and then jogged back into the park. It was a really weird experience, and I felt certain that I would have been mugged or something if she weren't there. I walked through that park every day for about a year, and I have never seen her again.
Oh, well, that follows the unless someone keeps a regular routine type stuff.
If I was a group of muggers, and I saw this absolute unit of an Amazonian princess just jogging through nonchalantly,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do. That is not the the battle I want to fight.
I'm fairly certain she just happened to show up at a convenient time. It was like, I see what's going on, and was like, let me help this person.
I love her. I stan her.
Yeah. Like we were talking about earlier, some people's premonition is just that they can read body language.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what's happening here, in my opinion. Sorry for all the people who don't appreciate my skeptic view, but I am.
No, I mean, it could be that she was just jogging and was like, I'm going to try out a new route on a different time because
Yeah.
I'm an Amazonian and nobody wants this smoke.
And maybe she saw that happening and was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be here either, and never ran that route ever again.
That's you know what? You just solved it. That makes sense to me. That tracks. I love that. Also, I don't know who you are, tall jogger lady, but I adore you. Thank you for helping.
Yes.
Ooh, this is a good one for you. You're gonna love this.
Oh, good. Is it aliens?
Not, but it's. I'm about to hear your
Put it
skepticism.
away. No, I'm
Your
kidding.
skepticism pop off here.
Oh boy.
I'm a paranormal investigator, so I live
Okay.
for the creepy and paranormal. I seek it out. Throughout my time as an investigator, I've experienced a lot of creepy things. But the strangest happened at the Sally house in Atchison. So sorry, Atchison, Kansas. My team had arranged toys on the floor in Sally's room because it said that Sally will move them if you do that. We just finished a dinner break in the kitchen downstairs and went upstairs to check on our equipment in Sally's room. When we got to the top of the stairs, the door to Sally's room was closed, even though none of us had closed it. Someone knocked on the door and asked, "Is there anyone in there?" The response made me jump out of my skin. We distinctly heard a male voice say, "No, just leave." I need to point out, we were all downstairs together. No one had gone upstairs to close the door, absolutely not. But any investigator will also tell you, in old houses, doors sometimes close. However, no men were upstairs. We had 2 men in our group, and both were downstairs. And that's the end of it.
Did you check all the cabinets? Because a magician will tell you plan it beforehand.
Absolutely. Also, the raccoon man from the crawl
Yeah.
space upstairs.
Is anyone in there? Sorry, occupied.
Leave me alone. I'm taking a shit. No, but that's
leave me alone. I'm almost done. What? Excuse me.
you should go. It's about to get gross in here.
Oh yeah.
To throw it
I was
back.
gonna say too. So my back door is on like one side of my house, like symmetry wise, it's on the what I'd call the right side of my house. And my front door is on the left side of my house. And I have closed my back door by opening my front door before. Because of the air pressure.
Yeah, air pressure will do that, especially if it's not a if the whatchamacallit, the thing that the door handle clicks into, if it's not, if the part of the door handle, the latch part, the inside part on the door doesn't go far enough in, and it doesn't have a place to grasp, that's going to be really easy to open. Like, I had a brother convinced that our cat had super strength growing up because she could always get into his room. He's like, she just will ram into the door and push it. She can open the door or something. But no, what it was is she knew where to press on the door because the latch wasn't the right size. And it took us a while to figure that out.
You're making me think of the like really like suspicious bathroom stalls and like public restrooms, like the bolt only goes in like 2 millimeters.
Oh, I hate that's. See, here's the thing. So public stalls in America have these weird ass gaps, and I don't like it because yes, you have the little piece of whatever, and it's like the bottom of the stall basically just covers up just the bits. And like if I was a creeper, I could just easily like peek, and I don't like that. And like those little latches are just, they're not, like, what is that supposed to do? Nothing.
So I know for some weird reason that the bottom of the stall gap is like a part of building code stuff for some reason, but the gaps in the door are just people not spacing stuff properly, and then because they're cutting into tile where it anchors, they don't have any way of redoing it type shit. They're like, fuck it.
So what I'm hearing is that poor craftsmanship and OSHA are to blame for this.
It's no, the bottom of the door was not OSHA.
No, that would have been a building code, so I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's someone arguing there's always a way out of a fire because they know for a fact people construct them poorly or something. I have no idea. I do know, however, the ones that like only have room for the door and they open inward. What the hell?
I hate that.
I've been in one where you couldn't even open the door all the way because it hit the toilet. I'm just like, what the hell? So I'm fairly certain a lot of this shit is just because they don't regulate that very well.
Or like where people retrofit to put a bathroom in. Like we have a bathroom in our house that I fully do not use because the toilet, it was clearly a closet that got retrofitted into a bathroom. and like the toilet's in a weird spot, and the way the door opened, like
Yeah.
you basically have to stand on the toilet to open the door. Like it's wild. I just
I've
measure, use common sense, guys. When you're
you're making you're making me think of too, like, so that I wouldn't be surprised if stalls are like that for the same reason that like airplane windows don't line up. The airplane windows are spaced where the engineer intended for like optimal leg room, and then the because the seats don't come with the plane, the airline is like, no, we're gonna add an extra like 5 to 10 rows in the same amount of space, and they'll scrunch everyone together, and they're like, and we'll call that economy class and sell it for 10% more. What? Yeah,
capitalism, the scariest part of this.
yeah. This
You
stream
know,
is
I
for
didn't even
scary
realize. You're
stories.
right though. That economy
Yeah,
class, the windows don't line up.
yeah.
Huh.
That's why
Flying
some people
scary.
get 2 windows, and because they're next to like where the windows are like right next to each other, because it's where parts of the plane join. And
That's
then
the
other
chosen
people
seat.
don't have any windows. They have like the corner of one behind them that the person behind them harasses them about using. Yeah, that's fun.
I
But
didn't even
anyway,
think about the chairs not being already a part of it.
this is I'm sorry for all the like.
No,
This is
hey,
just how
listen, it's fine.
this is
I'm having a great
this is just
time.
how I think. I'm like I see like the one small connection, and I'm like, let's link these.
Listen, I'm here for it because this is how I communicate even when I'm not doing Spooky Saturdays. You've heard me. Someone will mention something, I'll
Yeah.
be like, hey, actually, and then I'll go down what my friend calls rabbit holes. Where, like, you start
Mm.
out just talking about one topic that we all agreed on, and then somehow, 3 minutes later, I'm talking about, like, the economy in some faraway country. Like, because I saw a
Yeah.
YouTube video about it.
It's also, I think it's also why I'm so proficient at the dad jokes.
Honestly, yeah, you are hands down. Jotunn has got dad jokes on lock. If you have not seen or heard Jotunn dad joke efficiently, what are you doing with your life? Get in on it.
That sounds like a weird band name. Jotun dad joke.
His
Yeah.
LP drops on Thursday on
No, don't put
SoundCloud.
that pressure on me. I've not started yet.
It's a future endeavor. No, I
All
got
right, let's hear
another.
some more
Yeah,
of
I got
the.
another one.
Yeah, to
Um,
make up for all my sidetracking, let's hear more.
Together we will get through and tell spooky shit.
Together we'll get through one story.
I honestly last week I didn't fully correctly prep and I read a story that I didn't realize was going to be it was like an hour and a half long. I was like, "Damn, I'm so sorry I've done this to you." So I like these short
Yeah.
ones. These make me happy. Thank you Zombified Potato again for being phenomenal. I'm just going to real quick do a little he's a real G. All right. This one's called
I like how you have a call out that's just Spud.
yeah. Like I have like when I have his stuff saved, like I have a link, I have a shortcut on my Chrome to go to his Twitch, and it's labeled Spud Husband
Oh boy.
because he's a potato. See, I can dad joke too, just like the best of them. All right, this one's called Guide to Another World.
Okay.
This is a story from a friend. He was walking home from work at night when he came to a corner and he had to turn. Normally, there was a street light above the corner, but for whatever reason, it was turned off, meaning he couldn't see around the corner like usual.
Probably the
Um,
bulb's out.
yeah, just gotta get the light switch. A man wearing all white clothes, a suit with a tie, came up to him from behind him and asked if he could go with him. My friend was a nice guy and just felt good about the man, so he said yes. He said they turned the corner and bam, completely blind. He felt the man grab his arm and silently escort him through the darkness. He said it felt like forever, but it was only a block or so. The man walked the rest of the way home with him, and once my friend went inside, the man was gone. My friend still believes that that corner was some kind of portal to the underworld that night, or some other sketchy place, and that man was an angel guiding him through.
What?
That's wild.
Or he just pulled some movie cinematic tricks.
Did you check your pockets? Did you check your watch? Did this man bamboozle you and rob you while making it look like he helped you?
Hey, where's my wallet? Wait a second.
The angel took it. Like, complete side tangent, and I don't usually try to delve into the religious things, but like, biblical angels are metal as fuck. Because they got like 30,000 eyes, and
Yeah.
they're scary, and I love it. But also, I don't believe in angels, but I like the idea that he would be classy with a suit and tie, all one solid color. Did he have a hat? That's my real question. Right? He has a suit and tie. Did he
Yeah.
have a hat?
Yeah, like a trilby hat.
I was thinking of a Trilby hat. He is psychic. Told you. Told you.
It's just a okay, sure.
No, you're right. That actually would totally go like logically with the solid color like that, like the whole situation.
Yeah.
That's just being dashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder. Have you watched any of the Moon Knight at all? Just because there's
Yes,
a
I
all.
did. Yes, I
Is that where
did.
you got the monocolor suit, monochrome or whatever?
Yeah.
Anyway, no spoilers to
Yeah, we're not
anybody.
gonna
Don't
spoil it.
worry.
If you haven't read the comics, do so. There's also a show, I guess. It's really good actually, but I'm not gonna say anything else.
Okay.
This one's called just seamless, like, and next. Uh, the Banshee's Cry. One time, I was camping with my friends from high school. We had decided to sleep around the fire, not inside of the tents, since it would be nice to sleep under the stars. I fell asleep in the chair after a while, but I woke up to a very loud screaming from the forest surrounding the campground. It sounded exactly like a friend of mine, Jeff, who had been sleeping right beside me. Oh no is correct. Oh no is
Jeff,
correct,
Jeff,
babe.
Jeff. Sorry.
Well, I didn't see him in his chair anymore. I woke up to the person next to me and asked where Jeff went. He told me he was just across the way sleeping elsewhere on a bench. I then went, okay, and fell back asleep. The next morning,
As
I
you
was
do.
asking people about the screaming. It turns out that nobody else heard it but me. And to this day, I know I heard the screams. I just don't know who was yelling.
Or where Jeff is.
There's many reasons why I love this little snippet. The first is that I play a lot of Phasmo, and the Banshee is a scary ghost in Phasmophobia. Also, Keenan Bread aptly named the voodoo doll, which is a cursed object, Jeffrey. So I like to think that this story is the origin of Jeffrey. I'm sorry. But no, screaming in the woods, that totally reminds me of like skunk apes. Or like the really scary like screaming noises that sound like people screaming.
Oh, like goats.
Yeah, goats scream and it sounds like a person. Oh,
Mm-hmm. There have been a lot of like misreported murders happening, uh, just because a goat was screaming in the area.
the scariest part about that is, yes, that is creepy, but also goats can eat pretty much anything.
It's actually pigs that I really go to town with that concept. Goats just like stuff that they shouldn't have.
Yeah. Pigs can eat almost they don't eat
Yeah.
shoes, but everything
If you
else.
want, if you want an absolute horror story, just read about the shit that goes on at pig farms.
Mm,
I'm not talking about factory farming. I'm talking about what the pigs get up to. But not that's too much for this podcast, in my opinion.
for sure. According to the internet, pigs also have orgasms like every 30 minutes.
Oh
So they
boy,
be
what
getting down on
a
the
fun
farm.
fact! A fun fact for the pig. What?
What else makes weird noises at the night in the woods, though? We're not going to talk about that, babe, because I have a hard lock on those words. Those don't happen here. If you hear screaming in the woods, no, the fuck you didn't. Move on. So tell me about the pigs. Now I want to know.
Really?
What?
You really want me to tell you about the pigs?
Maybe you don't have to. We can also go to the next one if you'd like.
Uh, Let me just say, if you're knocked unconscious in a pig pit, moving on.
Yep, don't do it. Just don't. So this one is called The God of the Pool. I'm going to predict this is about Percy Jackson. Kidding. That's not funny. Funny.
The god of winning at pool. What? Very different.
Like, Ulf, why are you here? I'm playing a game, and I will win.
Can you imagine like being a god of like a 20-foot area?
This is my land.
Probably more like a nymph, I would say, like a water nymph. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's have the
Sorry, I
story
was
explain
vaping
it.
because I'm a terrible human being. But at
You're
least
good.
I admit it. I was
Hold
out.
on, I was using your rambles to just hit this vape. Sorry.
Listen, listen. I've been like drinking coffee and just kind of like having a great time. I've been vibing. We're vibing. This is a great time.
Yeah.
Like anytime you go over any of my past like game VODs, if you listen closely, you can always tell when I'm just like taking a sneaky vape, like oh. Oh. I was out at a college dive bar on a Friday night. Oh, you were right. It was like pocket pool. Okay, because they don't have a swimming pool in dive bars, I believe.
Yeah.
Be
Oh, this could be
gross
like a
if it
jukebox hero
did.
type shit.
Huh?
This could be like jukebox hero type shit, like that kind of terminology. Like god of pool, he's just really good at pool.
Oh, yep, that makes sense. I immediately thought of like that one scene in the opening of little Percy Jackson movie where he's like, "Wow, you've been underwater for 9 minutes," and it's like, "No, the hell he didn't. He'd have died. Don't play these games with me." Oh, now I'm just thinking of how gross it would be to have a swimming pool in a bar. Move.
You could do it. I think it's more climate appropriate rather than just being everywhere. I think it's more likely you'd have a bar in a swimming pool rather than the other way around.
Ooh, like this little floating. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
like a
yeah.
little tiki bar you swim up to, because the pool is like half the size of the resort and that shit.
Ooh. Once I sell my age for all that guy's money.
You're gonna have to laser around because all your bones are gonna be hurting.
Ugh. Okay. I was out at a college dive bar on a Friday night. The place would get crowded, and I was an avid pool player. People knew me at parties because I'd always go out to play pool almost every weekend. I'd get money and free drinks for winning. I'd run the table. Sometimes I'd grab a random partner to do twos. Me and a random person against two other frat kids or something of that sort. Anyway, this one spring night, the place is packed with a bunch of younger kids, around 21 to 24, including myself at this college dive bar. I'm trying to find a partner to play with, and in walks a man who looks to be in his late 70s, dressed in a tuxedo. It was way out of the norm for this place. He also had well groomed white hair and dress shoes. I felt like I was playing pool that night with God. This guy did not miss a shot, and he was on my team. We played people at the bar until it closed, and the kids were dropping money on the table trying to bet against us, thinking we'd lose at some point. But nope, this tuxedo man and I won every game, and I've never seen him at that spot since. It was the one and only time.
It just sounds like some like high roller that drifted through to commit fraud.
That's true. My brain
There are some
immediately is like,
people
oh my god, I called it. It is Ur.
there's some people that are like feign being really bad at pool just so you play them and then they play you for all your money type shit. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if his shtick is he's going from town to town, doesn't have like permanent spot. Because like why would you? People are gonna catch on that you're gonna just fleece them.
It's like I'm gonna call her out. It's like when Sunshine Owl plays deception games because she's so sweet. And she's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what I'm doing." And you're like, "Oh, like she's just trying her best." And then she gets to be the murderer, and no one suspects because she's so sweet, and she literally kills everyone. And they're like, "Wait, what? She murdered everyone?" Like, and her partner's like, "Yeah, I killed absolutely no one. It was her." It is no grifters are wild, but no. So Ur is the he's a Nordic god of skiing, of the hunt. In some interpretations, people people will be like, yeah, like that's a facet of Odin, um, which isn't in my mindset that isn't true. Like it's a separate thing. But also it's like the whole idea of like the hunt, gaming, like that if Ur was to enter a game, that he would be predisposed to win that because that's his domain, is being able to just like any type of hunter game. He's that strategy, like that's his shit. He would win every time.
Yeah,
But
you're making me
also
think of
like
the. You're making
m-
me think of the story of the most dangerous game or whatever.
knife monopoly.
No, that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But yes, sure, that too.
No, it was a bit from TikTok where they were like I've shaken you to this island. It's the most dangerous game. The girl goes,
Oh
knife
yeah,
monopoly? I was like, well, no, well now I have to know what knife monopoly is.
yeah.
Oh man, I just want to be like, so a man in his 70s in like a cleaned up tuxedo, looking fly as fuck,
Just
basically
showed up
rolled
and
into a
fleeced the
college
joint.
kid's bar and was like, I'm gonna take all your parents' money.
He was, yeah, that sounds exactly like the type of shit someone would do. They're like, I know this is a joint for a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I'm gonna fleece them.
Good for you. Good for you, old man. That's fucked
I,
up.
I, I don't support it, but good for you.
Listen, hey, I'm never gonna knock your hustle. Nobody got hurt. It's fine.
Listen, if someone's gonna be stupid about money, they're gonna lose it.
Yeah. When you clown around, you find out.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the title of this one, but I'm gonna read it anyways.
Oh boy, let's hear it.
It's called It Lives in the Attic.
Oh, that's a common name. Okay, let's hear it.
In the house I grew up in, it always felt like you were being watched. I'd see shadows out of the corner of my eye and dark mists that would dissolve when you looked straight at them. My older sister was always scared of the attic, especially, and she would barricade the door to it whenever we were leaving the home alone. We were in the home alone. Ugh, I'm so sorry, I cannot talk. She would barricade the door to it whenever we were left home alone, just in case. I went in the attic quite often to get various things. It's where we kept large toy containers, old clothes, and stuffed animals. I just liked seeing what I could find. It always felt like I was being watched, though. One time I went up there, and as I reached the top of the stairs, I saw a large, translucent, alien shaped white head looking at me from behind a box. I froze, terrified, and locked eyes with it for a few seconds before it slowly lowered itself down to hide. I turned right back around and left, telling myself I'd imagined it, but I was too scared to go in the attic for years after that. I didn't tell anyone for years. My parents eventually sold the house we moved, and I've never felt the same way anywhere else I've lived. And that's the end.
Not to overcook the beans, but I've heard that one before.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
never heard this one.
yeah. I thought it was pretty cool though. It's a nice concept.
So is it an alien?
What do you think?
I think it's really nice that, the alien was just basically just whatchamacallit. It's where you squatting, just squatting in their attic. So like my ride will be here in a few years. Just gonna chill American Dad style.
Yeah.
I like that.
Imagine though, just the knowledge that that thing is up there, and you're like, does it just sit up there? Does it have any intent to do anything? If it does do something, is it malevolent or benevolent? Does it want my crackers I'm eating? Does it is, is it sentient? Should I say like he, she, they instead of it?
It's valid.
Probably.
I wonder I wonder because the sister consistently blocked the door when they'd be left home alone.
Yeah.
Did the sister see it at one point?
Imagine if she consistently blocked it and you just hear like scratches at the attic door,
Nope.
or
Nope. No thank you.
uh, or hey, we had a deal, and she's just like keeping it locked up there, and
Who's that? Don't worry about it.
because she's not willing to pay or whatever,
Sister, who is that? Mind your business. It's
or
nothing to
maybe
do with
she, or maybe it hid and sister has to block the door because the sister knows um that she's the most likely prey for its feasting or something, and she's
you.
being home
Oh.
alone undefended.
Oh shit.
Yeah, all kinds of weird shit. Yeah,
There's so many
that's what really makes this type of story creepy is all the unknowns.
Yeah, because
And
not knowing leads to like all of the what ifs.
yeah, it's one of those ones that are creepier the more you think about them, or if you go down the right mindset, less creepy the more you think about them too. I guess.
Just an unfortunate looking squatter.
Yeah,
I don't know. Again, the fact that it started out with being in it, he put this on this list for a reason.
and yeah, and also that entire monologue is assuming that we have confirmed it is in fact like definitely an alien and nothing else. So there's all those other discussions to be had about like is it if it is a ghost and all that jazz. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry to like just like
No,
constantly be
no,
like
no.
doing being kind of like
Don't ever
pedantically doing all the thinking for
listen. Don't
people
ever
here.
apologize for it. Because again, I think we talked about this a couple of days ago, where I was like, "This is, this is like your jam, and I'm here for it." Because my mind will immediately go to like, "They're here," and you're like, "Hey, so here's also this thing."
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Well, see, being a skeptic makes it even more freaky when it's finally something you have absolutely no idea, and because, like, at that point, I'm done for. I have no plans. you know.
I'm in danger.
yeah, because
Oh,
that's the moment. That's the moment you're not prepared for it. You know what I'm
oof,
saying?
oof, absolutely. Oh man, now I'm just wondering though, because it hid. Maybe it was scared of children. I
Or
don't
maybe,
know.
or
It's
maybe
like
it had its beef out and was like, "Shit, someone caught me."
just trying to smoke some jerky.
yeah,
Just ignore the smells coming from your attic. It's just
yeah.
jerky.
Sorry, I had a lot of beans last night. Or maybe imagine like it just ducked because it was like, oh shit, they noticed the smell.
I've
I'm
been
not taking blame for that again, Jerry.
I've been caught.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one.
Mhm.
It's called the wishing seat.
Oh boy.
I was walking in the woods by the sea in southern England, and I came across a rock formation that had a sign, the wishing seat. It was rather like a giant throne, although obviously natural, not man made. I sat on it and entirely frivolously made a wish. As I was sitting on it, a young family passed along the path in front
Oh,
of
your
me.
audio cut out for me.
Hmm?
Your
Oh,
audio cut out for me for a second.
er,
It's Discord doing it. Discord's been funky the past couple days.
Discord. You silly Billy. Um, so it's the wishing seat. It's in the woods, just in the woods. But it had a sign in front of it saying the wishing seat, and
Oh, I
it
would have pictured it at, like on the side of a like seaside cliff, or like at the top of a seaside cliff or something.
yeah,
But
vantage
yeah,
point so you can see everything.
yeah, sit there twiddling your feet, wishing at the sea. Sounds peaceful.
It
Anyway, it's in
does.
the forest though, so it's creepy and there's fae around or some shit.
Absolute, exactly. That's my. I was like, nope, I'm not sitting on it. Well, it's according to them, it looks it's made of rocks. It's it looks like it's a naturally made thing, not a man-made thing. So they
Okay.
sat on it.
More evidence to the fae. No, I'm kidding.
So they
Anyway,
sat on
of course, as you do.
it. A young
If I
family.
fits, I sits.
Cat logic. Uh, tracks though. Uh, as I was sitting on it, a young family passed along the path in front of me. A man, a woman, a boy, a girl, all very ordinary in dress and appearance, but strikingly beautiful.
Young family. Jeez, they seem like they've been a family for a little bit. Sorry, keep
No,
going.
for sure. They got two kids out of it. How young they? I don't know. Uh, the following year, I was walking along that path again, but in a different month and a different time of day. I came across the wishing seat again, and I sat on it, and the same family passed by again. The world is full of coincidences, some significant and some not, but this seemed like a rather long coincidence. And that's the end of it.
I'm guessing they went at the same time of day, and that family takes a walk every day.
Well, no, it was at a different time of day. They specified it was a different month and a different time of day.
Oh, what time of day were the two occurrences?
Um, they don't actually say.
I stole your deerstalker cap. I'm wearing it for this.
No, for sure.
Um. hmm, Okay, so that's
See,
fun.
now I'm just
Um,
cornholing the Fae idea, where it's like, are those people? Would they
just
have been there if you weren't sitting on that seat?
Yeah, would they have been there anyway? Would it just happen to be that you're sitting at like a common walk spot and they just happen to like really enjoy that portion? Maybe it's a park. I don't know. Maybe it's
Well,
not a park and they're
it's a wooded area by the sea.
yeah. See, without context on them, like whether or not they looked any older, whether or not there's other houses in the area, whether or not there were any shipwrecks or anything. I
There's too
don't
many
know.
variables unaccounted for, I agree. We can't
Was
determine what happened or if it's specifically creepy without some context there.
Yeah, plus two, they could have not specified it that it's a park because they're in like something like a national park where it's just so large that like the first thing that comes to mind isn't that it's part of a park, just that you're in nature. So the one little area you're describing is only like a small segment, like type stuff.
I just want to
Um,
know if they aged.
yeah, if they aged, I think is the hugest like determinant. If they're exactly the same family, then
Then that
you're
is,
then you there's the potential you're sitting on a thread of time
or
rather
even like
than
the like these stone staircases that are randomly in the woods.
Oh, I don't have any context on that, but that makes me think of like places old towers used to be, and the rest of the tower fell down except the stairs.
Well, what it is that they're like you see them in national parks, but they're like all over the world. I think I think we talked about it previously on a previous episode. I feel like it was one of the baddies specials because I feel like we were telling Al to not go up the stairs because she's absolutely the one that would get snatched by the Fae. But I love Sunshine. She's beautiful. But no, so what it is like there's just random staircases in the woods, and it said if you go up the stairs that you leave this plane of existence and that you go into the Fey world.
Do they go up to nothing, or do they look like they're like up cliffs and stuff?
I have no idea, but I know my father-in-law, um, who is like the quintessential, like sweetest, like most wholesome person on the world. And he's an avid outdoorsman. He's flat out been like, yeah, no, I've seen those staircases. I did not go up them. And I'm like, the fact that you immediately were like, I'm not going up there, that for me signals that like that is definitely a thing that people should not do. Because I don't think he had the context of like this is what spooky like superstition is around these. That is also a common thing though, that like there are some parts of a structure that are going to stay after that structure is like gone and broken down. And if you build a
Yeah,
good set of stairs, like the walls may go down before the stairs do.
yeah. Um, I'm just thinking of like how elevator shafts are the first thing to go up in a building nowadays. And you just see like a vertical column for like months as the building goes up around it.
No,
But it could be like if signs of human habitation somewhere you don't expect it is always like suspicious as hell, in my opinion. And so
no,
you're
for
like,
sure.
so like if I found something like that and I wasn't in like a national park, because like the national park, I would think the rangers put that in there. But if I wasn't in like a national park or something like that, I would be like, do I want to risk finding an abandoned cabin or like doomsday preppers who think that I'm here to take their land or all that jazz?
No, no, for sure. That is definitely like
Um,
that is a thing though. It's like when you see like the horror films, and it's like, yeah, it's like a weird, creepy, abandoned, like plot of land off way off the beaten path. But then it's like the Leatherface situation.
yeah. And then I have gone up random steps in the woods before. Just a little note.
Wait, what?
Uh, yes, because they form in shale banks. Because of the way the stone is layered, it lends itself really nicely to just making naturally made stairs.
That's wild. I'm sorry, my brain's like, wait, Jotunn went upstairs in the woods
And I'm still here,
and
yeah.
you're still here. It's because they knew you were the chosen one.
Well, also too, that doesn't if you get into multiverse theory, it doesn't really rule out that I'm not in a new plane of existence, but you know.
No, like that whole what is it called? It's the Mandela effect, where it's like things that you've noticed are different, and like there are some people that say that the reason you think they're different is because you're not from this universe. You're from an alternate universe.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I was more like getting on the idea. Here's a little flip idea for you. Perhaps you do enter quote unquote a new plane of existence by doing that, but perhaps that's not a special event. It's just the one we've picked up on, or that people believe, or something like that, and that we're actually doing it all the time due to choices made and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like anytime there's a choice to be made, you get a new universe type theory and all that.
Yeah, like there's a universe where
Hmm.
I drank tea today instead of coffee because
Yeah,
I chose to drink coffee today.
Right. And then, so that would explain why it would be like a new plane of existence is simply that I chose to walk up the stairs as to not, and that the not going up the stairs would be my alternate new plane of existence.
Well, I'm glad you went up the stairs because that eventually led you to the choice to hang out with us today.
Well, I was gonna say there's like stairs in an area that I know really well and I'm not very suspicious of. um, just to walk back the I'm a hardcore skeptic thing and be more open to stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if like we start taking notes on what type of rock this stuff's in, if it's like in the type of stuff that people would carve for steps, and perhaps it's like an old look like say I'm assuming all these are in like a cliff face, which is like where you would put a flight of steps. You wouldn't just like because the ones that lead up to nothing, literally, they go into the air. Those are highly suspicious
For
of something
sure.
going on. But like the ones I'm talking about having gone up, they're like up the side of a hill type stuff because they're like just where the shale broke off. Because it's shale is a lot of you guys know shale is like a lot of layers,
Yeah.
and then when you get a break, it typically only goes like a vertical break. It only goes down so far, and then it peels off in layers type stuff. So that's wouldn't be surprised to have like a bunch of stone steps on shale. You can even see it if you look at like shale riverbeds a lot of the time. They look like those really long spaced out steps going up just because the shale's done that because it's thicker layers there.
I never considered the building material being, but you're absolutely right. I've personally never seen steps in the woods. The times that I've heard other people seeing them, it was always the standalone ones, which again, you're right, it doesn't make any sense unless it was a part of a bigger structure that just kind of like
Yeah.
went down. But
Yeah. So the one near me or the one near me, it was in a ravine. Obviously, it's like going up the side of something, so it's not
yeah.
suspicious. But like, too, you'll see one like if you look closer, there might be like the outline of a building that was there 200 years ago or something. And then two, like if you see it in sandstone, it's usually a park ranger, in my opinion, in my experience, because I live in Ohio, where like we have a lot of caves and stuff, and to get to them, there's sandstone steps carved by the
Yeah, so
parks.
that way people aren't like just
Mhm.
fumbling everywhere.
But then also too, like it's making me think of like the everything I'm talking about is in the side of a cliff, just to be like extra stress on that. But like the pueblos, the like stone houses out in like Arizona, like without those buildings there, that would be suspicious. But then you could also, knowing that the buildings are there, explain it as that like ancient people needed a way to cross the cliff face and just carved it in because they were going up and down it so damn much.
That's that's incredibly, yeah, you're right. Creepy
But
staircase in the woods, that's a red flag.
yeah, if you find a staircase going up to nothing and it's made of wood,
Don't. That's that's a
that
hard no for me, dog.
then well, actually, I was gonna. Yeah, now that I think about that, that's a common lean-to setup. If it's like if it's only like
You know?
about
Yeah, no,
head,
you're right.
if it's only about head height, but if you see like if you see like the standalone ones, I would think are totally. I don't have an explanation for. After that big long ramble I just went on, how I'm not suspicious of them.
Now you're like, well, hold on, I might be actually
Those
suspicious.
ones you need to search the area for context, but also too. Yeah, I mean, why not see what's up there? New plane of existence. That doesn't mean you're going to be able to tell it's different.
I'm
just,
I'm so
just to piss off all the people who like believe in that. I'm sorry.
hey, that don't ever don't be apologizing. I am real quick. Gonna take a quick break.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna put on the murder board screen. I have
Okay.
to hit the ladies.
Yeah.
But I will be right back. I'm so sorry. Do you want me to leave leave so you can talk to people, or do you? Also want to take a
I'm
quick
not
break.
interesting by myself. Let's be
I
real.
think you're plenty interesting, but I'm also
Oh,
biased.
not in the context of this stream anyway. I don't really have, like I mentioned, I don't really prepare material very well for like this stream and stuff.
Hey, honestly, I'm just happy to have someone poke holes in my crazy. 'Cause I immediately am like,
As the murder board pops up.
the best segue. All right, I will
I
be
lo-
right back. And I'm back.
Back on Jotunn.
There he is. Oh man, sorry about that. Apparently, a lot of coffee will do that to you.
Yeah.
Real quick, before I hop into the next one, I do want to give a shout out. And I actually remember how to do it, I think. Maybe. Hold on, where is. I just want to make sure I'm spelling it right. Okay. Here is. So, Tabby, along with. Basically, what happened was a lot of our friends, including Jotunn, contributed to the murder board
Yeah,
that
I'm
we
all
all
in
just
on most of
saw.
this stuff.
Actually, real quick, I'm just gonna pull it back up. Just because it's beautiful. Look at it. Beans. What's Jotunn beans? But yeah, Tabby, I commissioned her to help me realize my dream of being an absolute conspiracy nut. And everybody in the community was super helpful. And Jotun immediately was like, "Yes, I have something for you. Gnomes." So I wanted to give a shout out to Tabby because I know she's taking commissions right now. And also, she's a part of hashtag Gemini Gang. She's actually got a birthday situation. So check her out. Do it. Why not? Okay, I do have another one if you're into some scary, spooky stuff.
Yeah, please.
Based on true story. Is a true story. It's true because of the internet. Oh, you're gonna love this.
Oh, great.
It's called The Music from Next Door. I lived in an old house in Athens, Ohio, which is reported to be one of the most haunted American cities.
Yeah, I was about to say you and Shadow had a whole session about Athens,
We
Ohio.
did.
And
What's
I
haunting
had,
you?
I had to quit because I was being like annoyingly pedantic on no, it's not.
Like
I'm
magic
sorry.
isn't real. Damn. No.
Yeah.
No, that was a good. I think it was. I know that episode. I'm pretty sure that episode went up on the YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded anything past episode 9 just because I'm gearing up to kind of release those during the hiatus between season 1 and season 2 of Spooky Saturdays. But
Mhm.
I digress. During the first year I lived in my apartment, I frequently noticed this strange music that seemed to be coming from inside the house. It's from inside the house, Jotun. It's hard to describe, but it sounded like a keyboard or an organ. It sounded faint and was played in a minor key. Always sounded the same regardless. I chalked it up to my downstairs neighbors, and it never bothered me enough to investigate. It was definitely coming from inside our building, though. The following year, my original neighbors moved out, and my new neighbor Sarah moved in. We became friends. One night, she was hanging out in my apartment, and the music started up. She asked me pointedly where the music was coming from, and I said I didn't know. She didn't have music playing in her apartment? She said no, and we both looked at each other uneasily. Sarah asked me if I ever saw or heard weird things, and I said that other than the music, I hadn't. The way she asked implied that she had, but she didn't want to talk about it. A few months later, her boyfriend moved in, and she later confided in me that she saw and heard things. Specifically, random tendrils of what looked like smoke swirling inside their bedroom, doors slamming or opening without explanation. Her boyfriend hated going to the basement so much that he'd sing the whole time he was down there to do laundry. The thing is, I hated the basement too because it hadn't been changed much since the house had been built, and there was a creepy room that looked like where you'd keep nefarious things. That is a thing though. Like some older houses with the basement, they have like that weird, creepy off room, which I'm assuming is like supposed to be like a root cellar. But like,
Yeah, some places it's like instead of a crawl space, you have like a more voluminous room to store stuff in, but you don't want but you're also gonna use the basement, so you don't want people seeing all your clutter.
yeah. Well, that's just the little weird little rooms. I get very weirded out by stories where they're like, and then there was a little door, or there was this sketch ass room. It's like, no, don't go in there. Just don't. Also, do like that one girl, barricade the door, because it's gonna come for you. Whatever it is in this situation. Also, basements are creepy. Just full disclosure. Also creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. Da da da. Let me see. I lost my place because I'm bad at doing things. Looked like where you kept nefarious things. I always felt like I was being watched when I was down there. One day, I graduated, and as I was getting ready to move, I went out of town for a few days, so my parents were watching my cat at their place a few hours away. The night I got back to Athens, I decided to start packing up my books. I fell asleep and I woke up in the middle of the night to a giant crash. I was tired and disoriented, so I assumed the noise came from Sarah's place. The next morning, I went to my living room to find that a giant antique mirror hanging over my fireplace had crashed and shattered into hundreds of pieces. The nail supporting the mirror was intact, it was still on the wall. After that, I was finally prepared to admit that the place was haunted.
Is it intact but bent?
Yeah, also, like, generally there's a thing that connects the mirror or whatever you're hanging to the nail. It's
Yeah.
not just like, and then it just suctioned to the nail. Like, it's entirely possible
Yeah.
the thing hanging it also failed.
Yeah. The nail was intact. Oh, and I found this piece of metal hanging on it. Yeah, there's your problem.
You gotta use your street smarts. Or like, how would you know that that failed if the entire thing smashed? It's just not adding
Wow.
up. Also, how does a broken mirror lead to ghosts? And this is a
Well,
person who fully believes in spirits. That doesn't, I wouldn't have that happen and be like, yeah, ghosts for sure. Like, that's not the logical place my mind would go.
yeah.
Baby, you doing too much. Uh,
What if it's one of those cases where you know, like how someone will turn the salt shaker lid just so that when you go to use it, it falls off?
Sarah sets you up. She's actually been playing music the entire time.
I was gonna say, what if it's one of those ones fixed just enough to make it look like the next person broke it? So they were
Like,
like
oh
the
no.
person who hung it up either knew or accidentally did a bad job hanging it up, and it's just been hanging by a thread this whole time. And then it finally went.
That is for sure. That's my headcanon. I've decided that's what happened.
Oh, as for the spooky music, I remember there was this. I don't get on Tumblr, so this was like reposted on another social media.
Yeah.
It was a Tumblr post of someone saying they couldn't figure out where the weird clown music was coming from in their house, and then 2 months later, the reply post was, "Turns out I've been diagnosed with auditory hallucinations." So that
Oh
shit
no.
happens.
Well,
So
I'm
that
glad
shit
they.
happens.
Yeah, and I'm glad they found out. But like those 2 months in between, if no responses from the person, I'd be like,
Well, I
did
don't
the
know if
clown
it's
get
no.
them?
I was gonna say I don't know if it's no responses or just no responses on that post though.
That's valid. I don't go on Tumblr, so again, when I see something on that's from Tumblr, it's because it's been reposted everywhere else. And I'm like, oh, cool. I have a friend who goes on Tumblr, just straight to Tumblr, and I'm like, that's weird. What do you mean you get your memes directly from Tumblr? No,
No.
can't see it. Don't want to do it. Um, I was finally prepared to admit the place was haunted. I know Sarah saw and heard way more than she ever admitted, but she didn't like talking about it because she still lived there. She moved recently, so maybe I'll get more out of her now. I never really believed in ghosts, but too many unexplainable things happened. I did do some cursory research into who owned the house. I learned a woman was the original owner. Women owning houses? What? I don't like how that was phrased. Like, come on. Back then, the house was for a single family. She sounded like a quiet woman, a widow who died at an old age. In her obituary, I learned she loved to play music and had founded Athens Music Appreciation Group. I wonder if I kept hearing her favorite song to play. That's it.
Hmm.
Why'd she break the mirror if you think it's her? Yeah, correlation does not equal causation, in my mind. It's entirely possible that she was playing you that music. And
Yeah.
also, someone set up your mirror to fall. Those things don't have to be connected.
Yeah.
And basements are
Plus,
naturally
also,
creepy.
I was gonna say it never elaborates on the basement, so it could just be bias of the teller.
Yeah. Like, I think basements, full stop, are creepy. Stairs going to basements that have open backs are creepy. Dolls are creepy, full stop. There's no need to explain on that, in my mind. But they never said anything specific in the basement aside from they felt like they were being watched. Which, if you're already uncomfortable in a room, you're going to be hyper focused on how you're feeling in that room.
And their backup evidence was another person who believes in ghosts.
Yeah. It's a biased account. And this is, again, coming from someone who fully believes in spirits. That's biased. You need more than that to go off of. And you're in a college apartment. For sure, the
Yeah.
last person broke the mirror, like, broke where the mirror was hanging and just kind of, like, wham jangled that back on. So it would
It's the
eventually
next
fail
person's
for someone
problem.
else. So they didn't have to hit the deposit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gonna call this one debunked.
Yeah. It's a fun read, though.
It was.
It was like, yeah, it's kind of looking back. I like to, yeah, as opposed to just nitpicking everything.
It was cute and wholesome.
Well,
I want to know what else Sarah knew. Like, can we get this story over from Sarah's perspective? I would love to hear that she was like, and then I almost broke this dude's mirror. And he was asking me questions about music, and I was just kind of playing along, so I put the mirror back up. Because I didn't want him to think I was crazy for breaking his mirror.
yeah,
That's the funniest part to me is now I'm like, I wonder who said, like, was it the past tenant? Or was it someone who was literally house sitting for his cat or something? I was like,
or did you
whoops.
just do a shit job in the first place?
Was the mirror a function? Because, like, when you have a college apartment, like, some stuff is already there. It's not like all of it's yours. So, like, was this their mirror or was this the mirror in there? Because if it was the mirror in there, for sure someone absolutely hung it back up and, like, didn't, like, that for me
Yeah,
tracks. Because, like, deposits, like, it's like when you're moving and you're, like, trying to, like, fill the holes from where you had hung stuff. And you're like, oh, quick, I gotta do some sketchy stuff. So that way it looks legit. Legit enough for the last walkthrough. And I'll just hurry them through it.
yeah.
I love it.
That and I've had enough. I've not. I don't have very much experience hanging like pictures or mirrors and stuff, but the very little I do have, I've had just about all the clownery that you can have with that shit. And There have been times where I just missed the thing I'm supposed to hang it on. I think I've hung it on the wall, but I've actually hooked the thin lip of the frame, and you just lightly touch it, and it just drops to the ground.
That's fair. I have one painting that my friend made me in college that doesn't have like a string to hang it on, so you have to set it on like directly on the nail. But because it it just doesn't, it's just a canvas. It's not framed at all. So the canvas over time has kind of like gotten weird, if that makes sense. Like it was always a little off because it's pretty malleable. So like it looks like it's not flush to the wall because one corner is kind of like just naturally bending out.
Like warped a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit
Yeah.
warped, which
Yeah, that's
actually
kind of.
totally goes with the painting because the painting is crazy abstract, but
Is it like Salvador Dali?
it's like a bunch of colors, but you can see things in the colors. Like there's a man falling down and a smoking squirrel and an
Wow.
elephant making tea, but it's like all like you have to look for it and it's not obviously there. It's just like colors and shapes.
Alice in Wonderland type shit.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's really dope. I'll send you a photo of it later. It's really cool. Um but yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. No, it's knocked it's fallen over several times because this painting you can hang it from any side and it will make sense. So
Yeah.
if I hang it from that one side, it will fall. It won't
Hang
fall
it from the
immediately.
corner one of these times.
Hmm?
Hang it from the corner one of these times.
Ooh. That is a good idea. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it. I have to climb onto stuff to get to it. I'll have to do that when I go to flip
And
it.
then and then you can do one of those things where like is it a vase or is it two people kissing? Because now you said you can it makes sense from any angles. So now if you look you can easily reach two of the angles even if there's nothing on the diagonal.
Yeah, like I had one friend who looked at it and was like, "Oh, Jesus is right there," and I was like, "What?"
Huh?
I was like, I still can't see it," but they were like, "Yeah, right there," and I'm like, "I believe you because I see all sorts of crazy shit in this painting." Like, so yeah, probably, maybe. All right, I got two more little ones. If you're down,
Yeah.
they're very little, but they're funny. This one's Seer of Malady. My friend volunteered at a home for the elderly last year. One of the ladies she talked to took one look at her and said, "There's something wrong with your right side." She had no symptoms at this point. A month or so later, she had an OBGYN appointment and learned that she had a chocolate cyst in her right ovary. I don't know what that means, but it sounded like it. I feel contextually that sounds bad. That's the end of that. Like, that's all I. Again, it was very short. I think, though, like, if you're an older lady or an older person in general, and you've seen enough about the world, you can clock things. It's kind of like, how there's no symptoms that you can easily visibly discern someone has hypertension, but there totally is if you're looking for them. So it may
Hmm.
be that this old lady is just like, "Oh, you have a thing." I like to believe that was instead.
Yeah.
But like, good looking out because maybe that's why she made the appointment.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. That's more in my books. That's more of a makes you wonder sometimes rather than a full-on spook.
Yeah. Things
Kind
that
of like
make
a
you go, "Hmm."
kind of like at the end of X Files or Spook or Scooby Doo, and they're like they've solved it and it's some government hoax or something, but then there's Sasquatch or something walking
What?
over
It's
from the bushes.
insurance fraud?
Yeah.
Completely unrelated. I saw Zombie showed me a photo. It was like an advert for like something heroes, and it was like most powerful heroes, and it had in the picture it had Batman and Shaggy from Scooby Doo, and I was like, yeah, because
I'm only using 1% of my power
I'm
to
using
remember those memes.
oh my god, the Shaggy memes were insane. Like, I don't even know how it started. All I know is one day, like, all of my social media feeds just started being. It was like a
Hmm.
solid 2 weeks of just Shaggy memes. Just
And
like
then at
the.
some point you're like, okay, I'm kind of done with this, but they just kept coming, and you're like, what the hell? What are these people?
Or like when they do the little. The little like, Matthew Lillard interview, and he's like, yeah. And then they like change the words at the bottom to say some like, yeah, so then at that point I exploded their mouth.
Yeah, and there's someone took a Hayden Christensen interview and dubbed over the subtitles in a still pic of one of the frames. They dubbed over the still over the subtitles saying, "Yeah, so anyway, I just started whacking those little shits."
Yes.
From the scene from when he's um when Anakin goes ham.
Oh, I
Fun
love that.
times. Chucking
Memes
them up.
are a whole other thing,
Memes are acid trips for people who don't do drugs.
which is crazy because, yes, that tracks. Okay, this one's called Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh,
Also,
I've never seen that movie.
as a side note, for a second I legitimately believed you and I was like, what? But then I realized you were joking. It was a joke,
I've
right?
literally never seen that movie.
Okay, I need you to. There's a whole series of them. Robert Englund is phenomenal. Also, I share a birthday with him. So,
I share a birthday with John Wayne.
Gemini Gang. Gonna rename this stream. Gemini Gang. Um, that's cool. I didn't know John Wayne was a. That's dope as fuck. Um, but yeah, you should absolutely watch them. Um, they did not age well, but they were super. I enjoyed
Ooh,
them.
I'm kind of snooty on what movies I watch.
Well, see, when I say they didn't
I
age well,
already
I mean CGI. They didn't age well. Like
well
it's
well I
comical.
was okay. I was gonna say I already don't watch movies very frequently because I just don't get into them.
That's fair, and I get that. Okay, so what was I? Oh yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. My boyfriend and I woke up in separate parts of the house in hysterics, naked and covered in sweat, just totally drenched in it. When we both finally calmed down and talked, we made a disturbing discovery. We both realized that we had the same dream of being surrounded by a group of black and white people with no mouths. And that's
Is
it.
it wrong? The first thing that came to my mind is the racial struggle in America.
No. The first thing that came to my mind, like the dudes in like the green screen jumpers, the whole thing? The dudes, you know what I'm talking about? Like the full body, like stretch suits that cover your face.
Like like the green gimp suits? No, I'm just
Yeah, no.
kidding. No, I know what you're
That's why they
saying.
were naked. They had just gotten out
What?
of. They were drenched in sweat and hysterical because they got dehydrated and tripped out trying to get out of their gimp suits. It wasn't a
Oh my
dream.
goodness. Imagine peeling off sweaty leather. Just like
No. No. That's gross. That's gross. That was actually a lot. Those were a lot faster than I got one more. Let's do one more. Let's do
Yeah,
one more, and then we'll transition
I'm
to
gonna have.
talking about cool stuff.
I was gonna say I'm gonna have to like get dinner soon here
Yeah,
or something.
because I remember your snack time frames. Because I'm a good friend.
What?
Oh,
My,
this is beautiful.
I didn't even realize I had like set scheduled snack times.
I just sort of pick up on stuff like that. This one is
Okay.
called Not Quite Human.
Oh, Uncanny Valley, very popular in horror right now.
Mm-hmm. My partner and I were driving along a road and we see this shape in the middle of the road. It looks like it could be a kangaroo, but the closer we get to it, the more human it looks. But it's oversized. It was surrounded by a bunch of smaller shapes, and we start to think maybe it's a giant bird, but it because it looks feathery, but it's definitely human shaped, but not quite, like it had monstrous features. We're driving slower now, like walking speed, and I'm frantically telling my partner to drive around it and not leave the car. We see the little shapes up closer, and they're like plastic chairs surrounding a huger scarecrow. Now, you think knowing it's not an actual monster would help calm you down, but a freaking scarecrow surrounded by small chairs in the middle of a quiet road at night doesn't ease the mood. We laugh about it now, but it freaked me out. And that's it.
That sounds like a farmer's prank.
For sure.
Oh, this is gonna make someone stay up all night thinking about it. You're making me think of someone was talking about how they do like the most fucked up pranks. The pranks would be they wouldn't do anything malicious, but they would do something just suspicious enough that someone would think about it for the rest of their life. And the prank they were the one of the pranks was like just leave a watermelon on someone's doorstep because it only costs you like $5 to occupy a portion of someone's mind for the rest of their life.
I love that. I love that. I'm never good with pranks because I either go like not hard enough with pranks or like I get really like intense and it's like that is not a prank, that is
Yeah.
harassment. I'm like, oh, well, whoopsie doodle.
Yeah.
I
I've
have
had
no
to calm
chill.
down on all the Minecraft troll shit because I don't do the like in your face like trolling that people would do like in Minecraft, like you step on a pressure plate, your house blows up. I do like the sneaky little shit of like a chicken just constantly keeps appearing in your house and you're like, where the hell these chickens keep coming from? And you can't find it for months. What?
How'd you do it?
So are you actually asking, or was that like a joke?
No, I'm
Uh,
actually asking.
so dispensers in Minecraft will throw eggs. So you just have like and when they land, they have a percent chance to spawn a baby chicken. So you just have like a automatic chicken farm just generating eggs, and every time one lays one, it just like throws the egg in someone's basement. You got to put it out of the way because it's kind of large.
So you gotta stealthily hide this in their house.
Yeah, the other thing too is you can kind of make a generator that does that to just like drop eggs off in a corridor, like a little air duct, and the chickens just gradually wander through the hole into their basement.
Oh my god. I might get into Minecraft just to fuck with people.
The other one too was like so the door states are open and closed, like, but it's just like a numerical value. It doesn't really say which one's which. So you can set up the door as either one. So people like to set pressure plates to open the door when it's in there when they're walking through. I set it up so that I change it and I make it look like that's what's going to happen, but really what happens is the pressure plate doesn't work, and then when they walk through um, and shut the door behind them, the door opens as they walk away instead of shutting.
I tell you what, you mentioned pressure plates. I'm immediately triggered about that one time that you were like, "No, bunny, stand right there. See you."
I thought I
I
was
tr-
being like comedic in that I was like, yeah, just stand right there because I was while clawing at a door.
See, here's the thing, and it's so funny. I have this uncanny immediate ability to name streams before the stream happens in such a way that when it actually does happen, that it's like the stream names somehow still work out with what happened with the stream. Like,
Mhm.
I think that one I named it like it was like Jotun and I are gonna stick together. You're like, hold on, let me pull it up because now I'm yeah, Jotun and I are gonna stick together and we're gonna use our street smarts. That was the name of that stream. You were like, bye. Like I had another one for the baddie stream where I was like, hopefully, like, I wonder how long it'll take for us to TPK. And it was literally like 2 rounds of combat.
When we finish the next one, I want to see if you can pick up on any patterns and predict the upcoming games.
I have a notepad already set up for little clues and tricks that I've tried to pick up along the way. So yes, I'm here for it.
And the reason I'm not saying what specifically is like if I even tell you where in the game to look, you will know exactly what I'm hinting at.
Okay. Well, we'll have to find out. We're gonna find out. So we had some spooky times. We talked about some spooky things. We had some other great conversation. But
Uh huh.
I want to kind of segue
Okay.
into stuff about you.
Uh oh. Careful opening that door.
So you do a lot of Minecraft stuff. You do some strategy stuff. I know streaming. You've been doing the Wednesday streams, and back on June 9th, we'll pick back up on our Thursday puzzling.
hmm
Do you have any upcoming projects that you want to talk about?
Uh, not specifically. I'm trying to get into animating, maybe game design, but that's not. I don't have anywhere that's going at the moment, so I don't have anything in specific. And I also don't even know if I'm gonna keep carrying on there. It's just an interest I'm starting to look into.
Absolutely. So, what is that thing? I think it's a game. There's a type of. I threw your link tree in chat, by the way, in case people want to check
Oh,
out your
thank you.
stuff. Um, because they should, because it's a great idea. Why not? Why wouldn't you? What is that called? It's like a There's a specific thing to design games, and I can't remember what it's called because it's actually a game builder. And I
Game
don't.
engine.
Maybe.
Are you talking about like Unreal Engine and stuff?
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, that's just a game engine. It's kind of like having like Photoshop, but like designed for games type stuff. It's so you don't have to code a game completely from scratch. You have a toolbox. You don't have to forge your own wrenches and stuff.
Ah, so it's like Joomla. What Joomla is for website design.
I don't know what that is.
Basically, it's like drag and drop build a website, and you don't
It
have
can
to sit
be
there and code forever.
it can be like that. You still have the option to do like C++ coding, which is like the most common coding behind the scenes for video
Yeah.
games. You still have the option to fully do that, but one of the nice things that's showing up nowadays more and more in like game engines and like model rendering tools like Blender, for example, is nodes and webs that just rather than having to write out a bunch of lines of code, they're basically like a little box that you just like plug into another box, and they specify how stuff works.
That's cool. I like that. And it's so
like you build a logic board out of it, basically.
Yeah.
Rather than having to write the code.
I am all about that because it's a thing where I learned how to code as a young warthog, but you only can do so much before you kind of like frazzle out on it.
Yeah, and having to write like a whole thesis paper's worth of code just to have a little display window per game.
Yeah,
really would burn people out. But like using a game engine, you can view it just by having the game engine. For example, you can view
something's wrong with that. Like, and when something's wrong with, you've got a full series of code you're just looking at. You're like, one of these things is wrong, and it's breaking this one thing. Where is the problem?
Yeah, and then it turns out instead of true, you typed TRU or some shit in the code.
Honestly, yes. That specific thing has happened to me multiple times. But it's like in the middle of shit, so I still have to like sift through. That's why I don't code anymore.
Yeah, I have found a bunch of stuff before where I was like, why does this constantly keep failing? And I'm looking at it for 2-3 hours, and then finally I'm like, I missed a semicolon.
Oh.
And then my dad does a lot of programming and type stuff. One time, so he was in charge of like a database, and he put a comma in by accident, and it started rapidly deleting.
Oh no!
And he just shut it down, and he got a phone call like an hour later. He said, "Yeah, I know exactly what you're calling about. I'm fixing it right now."
That's fucking tragic. That's fucking tragic.
Well, I don't know if it was like deleting stuff or just making everything unusable in their whole database, because it was like a multiple location company.
Oh, that hurts me though.
Yeah.
That hurts me so many ways.
And the thing is, he didn't even mean to put it in there. He bumped the key, and he was like, "No!" He had to shut it down immediately, and still there was like hours of damage he had to repair.
Oh my god, that sounds like such a bully. I'm getting like triggered. Like, I've been staring at this code for 16 fucking hours. What is wrong?
Yeah, and he was like, and that's why you always work on the stage version of that and upload it later. Don't ever work on the live version.
Yeah, don't work on the live. You only gotta fuck something up horrendously one time to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
Oof, oof, oof. So, in the future, maybe, potentially, a custom Jotunn game by Jotunn, for Jotunn.
Maybe. That's a very strong maybe. That's if I even get off my ass about it in the first place, let alone make a game or try to come up with an idea for a game. I thought it'd be cool to render just like liminal spaces and stuff.
Ooh.
Like not even get all the way to a game, just like make postcards of like liminal spaces.
Honestly, that sounds nice too. You do a lot of art. Like, you have such a unique drawing. Like, anyone in chat who didn't already know this because you crazy, this whole set for Spooky Saturdays was designed and made by Jotunn. Not just his photo, the whole ass set. This was all him. And it's beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? I think it is. I was actually
Thanks.
bragging to my dad about this. I was like,
I
look at
don't
this.
always know how to. Oh my. Okay.
Zombie, you fucking. So I was like, what? Really? Yeah.
Oh, on the game engine thing too. Part of what made me think of this, right? It part of why I know it's possible. So you know the back rooms,
Yeah.
um, videos and all that. All that was rendered in Unreal Engine.
Oh.
Other than the like very intro clip where there's actual people in there, it is all from a video game set that the guy is like designing.
That's actually dope as fuck. Oh my god. So yeah, I'll keep an eye out on that. Chat, for real though, just check out his link tree. Check out his Twitch. Get
Thank
on
you.
them socials. Follow. Cause
Yeah, don't bother with Twitter. I forget it exists a quarter of the time, and half
That's
the
real.
time I'm too
That's
lazy
real.
and don't know what I'm posting.
It's also incredibly fun to randomly get tagged in something like, oh, I just remember that Twitter's a thing and I haven't seen it in 7 months. I'm like, oh, there you are. I tagged you in the tweet today.
Yeah, I have my notifications muted because for some reason I can't decide, or I can't tell it to mute notifications for only one account, and I have my personal and my public account. And my personal account has like 3 million notifications I just don't care about.
That's honestly, I don't even know how to. I can accomplish a thing on Twitter, which is I can tweet. And I can view other tweets. I'm sure there's other stuff that happens. I honestly, if I spend too much time on Twitter, it becomes an act of doom scrolling. So I limit that. I'm like, and I'm here, got my shit, and I'm out.
Yeah, I think that fuse in me is burned out because I can't stay on Twitter for very long. I get bored. I used to 4 years ago, I was like just doom scrolling all the damn time on Twitter, and now I'm just like, can't be asked to even open the app or forget it exists. Oh.
That's real. That's real. Well, I'm again super thankful that you got to hang out with me today.
Yeah, thanks for not only inviting but reminding me that I signed up for it. Because it was like a few months ago, and I'm notoriously bad at long-term planning.
Hey, that's why I make a series of lists. Because if I don't, I will forget. So, this is a collaborative thing. You signed up, I had a list, you came, we had spooky conversation, I drank entirely too much coffee. Like,
oh, I was just stealing a Julius Caesar quote, don't worry.
What quote? What was it?
I came, I saw, I conquered. So you said we came, then you said we talked shit or something like that.
And then we conquered it.
Then I just added in we conquered in between the
I'm gonna real quick because I just remember there's a thing I can do here.
Is it quotes?
Yes.
I didn't actually quote it exactly because I don't know.
Listen, it's funny and I'm doing it. Quote number 17! That's your favorite number!
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be! Oh my god, blessed.
Oh, you want to, about weird coincidences. If it is around 11:30 and I look at the clock, I always look at the clock at 11:34.
I wonder, when were you born?
Not then.
Oh. I was like,
No,
are
like
you...
no, like 1 in the morning or some shit.
Same. I was an early morning Gemini as well.
Well, I don't actually remember if it's 1 in the morning or afternoon because my mom forgot halfway through.
I
Over the
remember what it
years, she
was
forgot which
because
one.
I was off by some time and I went to do my
Yeah.
birth chart and I was like, this shit doesn't make any sense. And I was like, Mom, where's my birth certificate? Like a creeper. I'm like, Mom, where's my birth certificate? And she was like,
Yeah.
here. And it was like, I was a solid hour off. And I'm like, oh, that might be
Yeah,
why.
I was. Speaking of, so my sister was early and is a super like itinerary based, get shit done type person. Like it's always like time to leave, get do something attitude. I was late and I'm lazy and I'm late to a bunch of stuff.
See, and that's so weird that you say that because I feel like you're incredibly punctual. Maybe
You're
it's
catching me at a time that I'm finally managing shit because it's messing up stuff if I don't.
me. I'm just like, due to completely foreseen circumstances, completely within my control, I will be late.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I didn't have a job, I will be one of the worst offenders of being late.
I have a job which I show up to on time because they pay me to do that. That is
Yeah,
literally the full cap. I'm like, now that I'm getting paid, I'm gonna get, because you gotta clock in, right? I'm gonna get my money.
but I'm one of those people that money's not like a subconscious motivator for me.
No,
So
for
like,
sure.
so if I'm not on time for most of my other stuff, I will be late to work.
Uh, See, it's not so much, to clarify, it's not so much the money aspect of it. It's just me.
Yeah.
I just, you know what I
No.
mean? Like, I take great
Yeah.
pride in my, like, actual job, my real people job, because in every facet of my life, I try to help people. And my job, in some strange roundabout fashion, is me doing that. I get to help people who, I mean, like, good 80% of my job is Karen wrangling, for sure. But I also get to help people who, like, don't know what else to do. So they reach out and I'm like, I got you, fam. And they will solve problems. And I get to solve little mysteries. So, like, it tracks. It's a fantastic fit. But it's not about me, it's about you. And it's about spooky time. And I just want everyone, if you haven't already followed Jotunn, do it. Great things to come. Also, happy early birthday, Gemini gang. I'm gonna be saying that like the whole.
The group of maybes.
No, that's Libras. Me dunking on
Me
Libra.
trying to make a decision.
No, I like to think of, when you think of astrology and you're thinking of like
I was
someone's
just
shit.
making a pun.
No, that's actually like a solid, like, that's like a trope with people with Libra. Libra within their like big three is that they won't make a decision. They'll just like flounder about going over why each one would be good, and they will refuse to make a decision. It's not me coming for you, Libra.
Under the wrong horoscope, that.
Or it could be that you have Libra placements in the rest of your star chart. Because everybody always assumes that their sun sign is the thing.
Follow this stuff, but...
No, for sure. It's just super interesting, honestly. Like, I have a thing. I'll have to dig it out. I bought a book because a TikTok told me I needed to. And I was manic, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's called The Big Book of Birthdays. And every page has a different day of the year, and it tells you all sorts of crazy stuff, like numerology, famous people that were born on that day, like interesting facts about that day. It's really cool. I like it. I bought it and I looked up like 5 people's birthdays and I'm like, totally worth the money I spent on this book. On the shelf it goes. So I'll have to pull that out and send you a photo of your birthday.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
I do partially want to say part of the reason I'm skeptic on it is it feels a little bit like it works so well for the same reason like the people with the crystal ball getting people to tell them info makes them look like they're like it's real easy for people to go, that's so me, even if it's only like a 60
yeah.
70% bet.
I actually thinking on that specific, like, that whole mindset of like something basic, something very simple, and people relating to it and then believing wholeheartedly in that. I immediately think of like those medicine commercials. Like the ones that are like, talk to your doctor
Snake
about
oils.
this. Yeah, where they're like, you should talk to
Oh
your
no,
doctor.
like actual medicine.
Yeah, like those commercials where it's like, do you
Talk to your
sometimes
doctor. It
feel
may not
do you
be a fit
sometimes
for
feel
you.
tired? Do you convert oxygen to carbon monoxide? Carbon dioxide?
Monoxide.
Do you dioxide? Ugh, can't talk.
About to
Do you
say.
go to
What are
bed
you smoking
you
fires
go to
over
bed at
there?
night? You wake up in the morning? Like, try this. It will help you. Because I had this one thing, and then they list off a bunch of things, and then it's like, may cause anal seepage. Crazy stuff. On that note, let's raid someone. Do you have anyone on your list that you would like us to raid?
I don't really have anyone to raid. It's up to you.
Okay. Well, I don't see anyone in the guild. Let me check yours. This is what I do. I just check people's discords and see who's on. I'm there. It's me. Let's check Sean's. Sean's not on right now. I think he was...
Yeah, everyone who's live that quote unquote I watch in my followed channels, I don't actually like watch it. So
I see that both Bree and Overlight are on.
I mean, you raid whoever you want. I don't really, like I said, I don't
Well,
really
if
watch
anyone
them.
in chat has a suggestion, there is a channel point redemption for that. But let's go raid! That's right. Then you know what? We're gonna... Dealer's choice. I love it. Preferences. Let's see. Civ... Is that 6?
Who's playing Civ 6?
Overlight.
Oh, really?
Let's raid Overlight.
I was just playing that last week.
I was gonna say, like, I was looking, I was like, actually, that tracks. All right, so we're gonna raid Overlight. We're gonna do that. But I just again want to thank you for taking the time to hang out. I want to thank everybody in chat for hanging out, for sharing this spooky experience with us, and really just for being dope ass people.
Hey, can I have a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Or ask a question? Why do you have a no backseating tag on just chatting?
Where?
On your stream. I'm just being pedantic for fun. Don't worry.
Oh, is there an actual tag?
Yeah, next to English on the tags.
Hold on. I don't even know what that means. Did I set this up?
I just wanted to make the last few minutes awkward. Don't worry.
Well, no, and now I'm like, how do you get rid of
that? Like I said, it only costs you $5 to occupy a portion of someone's mind forever.
Boom. That's super weird. Because I'm here for backseating. Spooky Saturday is essentially backseating on crack. But yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, because I have no idea what that is. But yeah, okay, so Doo.
I wonder if it was from like a Phasma stream.
It might have been, actually. It might have been. Okay. Well, now we've solved that mystery. Partially. We're gonna raid. We're gonna have a great time. I will, of course, be very excited to see you on Wednesday. Watch your stream on Wednesday. Potato has just put the raid message. If you guys want to, you can use it. If not, you don't have to. But again, super appreciate you guys. I'll be doing baddies for the king coming up, and then next week we have the season 1 finale of Spooky Saturdays, and it's gonna be dope as fuck. I hope you guys have a spooky night. I know I'm gonna sleep like a baby bear. And let's get this raid on. Because I forgot to hit the button, and I'm so cool. I had it typed out, and I actually never hit enter, so the timer never started. And there's that shout out. Beautiful. We love to see it. Well, again, thank you. I love you guys very much. And you're beautiful. Say goodbye, Internet.
Goodbye, internet.